Live on most of our platforms. Right, let's get the Facebook and the Telegram going, and then we'll start.
Okay.
All right, folks, welcome to the Sacred Lovisa podcast. Sorry we're running a little late today. I just flew into Missouri. We're going to be doing some content for upcoming shows for some of our podcasts. Like three different shows we're going to be doing like 4 days. So, anyways, I got a little jet lag, but we're a little late because of that. But we're going to get started and we're going to proceed and get the show going. So, to start off, I want to give my condolences to Jessica Durham for the loss of her daughter. Jessica, would you like to tell our viewers what happened?
My daughter was in a horrible car crash on Thursday night, and she had just turned 18. She had just graduated high school and was starting college, and she was killed.
Would you feel comfortable explaining the context of what happened, like with in regards to your CPS case and why they were responsible, or how this, like, what was the backstory to that? It's up to you though.
Oh, yeah, her uncle, well, my sister and her husband took my kids, and for me and my husband, we were not on drugs or anything, but she had a chance and she took it. And he her husband, after telling us that we weren't good enough to take care of our daughter, went to my daughter when she turned 17 and told her that he had had a wet dream about her riding him in a pink bra, and that he needed to know how to act accordingly. He needed to know if it was real or not, so he knew how to act. And then asked her not to tell her Aunt Ginger. And they had been physically fighting for about a month before my daughter moved out, my sister and my daughter. So I don't know how many times she put her hands on my daughter. But my daughter moved out to her friends. And then this month, well, it was 2 nights ago now, she was in a horrible car crash and died because she should have been at home. She should have been around family. She should have been with me.
You're absolutely right. It's such a tragedy. These corrupt CPS and family court systems are responsible for this. You guys, I mean, this makes me enraged. Makes me want to fight harder and put a stop to what these bastards are doing. We have to
Believe it or
stand up
not,
for
me
these kids and
too.
we have to stop it once and for all. This is ridiculous. This has gone too far.
Me too. These people need to know, every one of you, please understand, you have to make sure you're not alienated from your child. You fight as hard as you can. You make sure that your babies know you love them, because my last conversation with my daughter was her telling me that she didn't remember anything about our life together and that she didn't think I loved her. And I begged her to believe me that I loved her, but she never knew it. And then she died before I got a chance to ever talk to her again. She never called me. So please make sure you fight as hard as you can to make sure your babies know you love them. Call them every day, even just put it on speakerphone next to their head and say, I love you. Please.
Yeah, that's a great sentiment. I think that's the best advice anybody could give. I mean, especially look, people, the bottom line is if they can do this to her, they can do this to Angie, they can do this to Jen, Desiree, they can do it to any one of us. And that's their bottom line. They're doing this for money, people, and this is not right. They're racketeering, they're trafficking kids, and we have to put a stop to it. This is
Exactly.
ridiculous. So with that, we would like to play a little prayer and video segment we put together for you in honor of your daughter's memory. So
Thank
let's begin
you.
that. Would you like to play that, Angie?
Thank you so much. That was so beautiful.
Yeah, and you did a really great job on that. That was very, very beautiful.
You're welcome.
Could I get a copy of it by any chance?
Of course.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I want to put it on my main page.
You absolutely. We'll send you a direct copy for sure.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm so sorry for your loss, Jessica.
Me too. She was perfect. She was so perfect.
And this is how they, they destroy the families and just keep people in tragedy.
Absolutely.
No,
Exactly.
When she was a little baby, she was only 3 years old, and I had just got a brand new tan suede couch, and I took it home that night. She colored all over it with a permanent marker. And I told her
that it was it was the most
told her
beautiful couch.
I told her
afterwards.
I told her it was a pretty picture, and I giggled with her.
Oh,
I
that's
didn't
awesome.
want to hurt her feelings.
That's sweet.
Aw.
What color was it? What color was your couch, and what color was the marker?
The couch was tan, like a beige color,
Oh, okay.
and the marker was black.
Yeah, that's my girl. That's my girl right there. That's my girl.
It was beautiful.
I'm coming on your mic.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Sorry.
That's how I was with them. I couldn't even get mad at them. I didn't deserve to lose them. I was never hurt them.
You sound like a great mom. And the fact that these bastards have done this to these kids is beyond criminal. It's pure evil.
And my son's still there. My son's still living there with her, and she's still with that man that almost molested my daughter.
That's. How old is your son?
He's 15, and he won't even talk to me. He's upset with me because I started yelling at her when she told me that my baby was dead. I started yelling at her, and I told her that if she hadn't chose him over my baby, then my baby probably would have been at home instead of out driving around in the middle of the night and getting killed. And then when I said that, I didn't know if she had me on speakerphone, and my son heard me, and he said that he didn't want to talk to me anymore because I hurt Aunt Ginger's feelings.
And better yet, she should have been with you where she's safe instead of running
Right.
because she's safe where
Exactly.
she was at.
I always kept her safe.
Absolutely. And, the devastating part of it is that the protective parents get treated like we're the monsters.
Right.
But you should hear,
It's all inverted.
when it comes time with my story, the stuff that they brainwashed my daughters to think. It is atrocious.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But anyways, I don't want to talk about my stuff right now. This isn't about me. So,
Okay.
Did you want to read your little poem that you put together for your son?
Read my poem about my son, because I too had a son pass away. He was, let me give it just a quick brief backstory.
Go ahead,
He was this okay, so I had a birth injury, and he had widespread brain damage, and they didn't expect him to live. They expected him to be a vegetable. It was due to malpractice. And but I made that promise to the universe that I would do whatever that it needed to do humanly possible to keep him alive, and I did it. I absolutely did it. Doctors were questioning their diagnosis. He had some kids with those kind of brain injuries, they don't grow like height, their head body proportion. He looked completely normal. And anyhow, so I had required 24-hour nursing. And so plus I had other children as well. So if the nurses didn't show up, I was, the nurse on duty. My daughters started learning you know. He was sick. Like when he was young, he needed to get a trach. Well, for 4 years, he did not get sick in my home. 4 years, and he was on a ventilator as well. When they removed him, 3 days he developed pneumonia, and they wanted me to sign a DNR. I said absolutely not, and I still didn't do it.
My God.
If for those who don't know, it's a do not resuscitate. He was a full code. Anything happens, and I want him resuscitated. And they got pissed when I didn't. So anyway, so towards the end of my case, they did an interstate transfer to his biological father in Ohio, and then he had all rights. And at birth, he wanted them to quote pull the plug. Okay. I was like, oh no. My son knew me. We had a different way of communicating. We have more than just the 5 senses. A lot of it was like the vibration. I'd hum, music, and he'd sing, he'd hum back. We liked Michael Jackson Beat It the best. It was, I don't know. I'm sure I'm not
That was
kidding.
my favorite song as a kid.
But it wasn't yours when you were communicating with my Nicholas. I was like,
Adorable.
But I
like
totally get where he would be coming from, because that was my favorite song as a
he'd be
kid.
like, I know that was the bad stuff, but he'd be like this. Okay, I'd say something like, I go, and he'd go, and then he would raise up. But and one thing that was amazing was when I had to learn his care, and they had to check it off before they would release him, to me. And I walked up, and it was kind of difficult. They didn't want my younger daughter in the hospital room. I'm like, look, she's not going to tear apart everything. And she was very well behaved, right? Well, anyway, and I go and I say something. I step on his bed and I say something. And he made a sound. He looked at me. The nurse goes, oh my gosh, that's the first time I've heard him make a sound. I was like, he knows his mom is, yeah, and everybody, oh, he's nothing, he's the best. No, he wasn't. There was something I knew I could see. There was a light in him, and he taught me, not to take things for granted. People take for granted walking. They take for granted breathing. He taught me different kind of parenting that I will never, ever forget. It was, an amazing experience. There's another poem I'll read on another time, but it's like, it's how to explain how it is to take care of a disabled child. It's beautiful. But anyway, so let me see if I can find it. I have an issue sharing my screen, so bear with me. So plus, that.
No, you're
that
fine,
whole,
Jen. You can just read it. You're good. And then we'll
No,
after that we'll segue into the interviews we did
okay,
for
well,
the
all right.
week.
Okay, so I hope you can still hear me. So
Yeah, we can.
All right, so let me get to it here.
Or did you want to do your fun facts before that?
No, I don't. I don't think it's appropriate this time.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
This is let me take a drink here. Okay, so when I found out that he was sick, I got a phone call. I wasn't told where, when, how. So I was calling around to all hospitals frantically looking for him, still didn't do it. So finally I did research, and I found his obituary. And this is the poem that I wrote him on December 20th, 2020. I was there for your first breath, but may not make it to your last. You beat all the odds, the evil demons stacked against us. The silent warrior is toughest to be, and you were like a boss for the world to see. Fighting until the bitter end, and is what you accomplished in my eyes and soul. You will be the most amazing warrior I have ever seen. Well, it's like you are, but anyway, I will not stop. So please shine some light from the universe above. And another thing I'd like to add was that when I looked into the obituary, There's no comments, no nothing. So I'm going to gather pictures and I'm going to let the world know that he had a family. It's ridiculous. So hey, maybe I'll do it and I'll let everybody know. Maybe you guys can post some comments, pictures, and show Nicholas how he was really loved and meant the world. Because right now, the sad thing of all is the comment that I read. It said, "Oh, bless this poor boy. This poor boy had a mother that loved him, had sisters that loved him, had family that loved him. But you know what? When out in public, people would ask, 'What's wrong with your kid?' My 5-year-old daughter would say, 'Nothing's wrong with him. What's wrong with you?' Yeah, and I was like, 'Check, please,' you know." But yeah, I mean, just they. It was amazing. Yeah, we didn't get to go to a lot of places, and one day somebody said, because my girls were like, I guess their kids had a lot of stuff, whatever, they could go to camp and spend lots of money, and instead of like asking other people, I asked my daughters. I said, hey, I gotta ask you something. Somebody said mention something that you guys don't have enough stuff. They're like, Mom, we have your love and that's enough. And you know what, that was all I needed to hear. So you know I just,
Hey, on that note,
yes.
jump on the obituary.com and be the first one to put something down for your daughter.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
And you know what? And then following, we will too. So there's the thing. We'll do it too. Absolutely. We sure the heck will.
It's free.
Because you know what? That is just that. Maybe you can explain, like, just give me a few things about her. I mean, she's actually very beautiful. She's got a beautiful soul that, like, about blinded me. I was like, wow. And you could tell the love you have for her. And, and I know it's hard for you right now, but she knew you loved her. And that's the sense that I'm getting. So, but it's still, I didn't get to say goodbye either in the physical realm. And you know what? That really sucked. That was like, but I got to say goodbye in the spiritual realm. So, but anyway,
Yeah, I would like to do that.
But and maybe we can work on it because you can, and
Definitely.
it will definitely. I'm telling you what. Yeah,
Jen's
and
an
the same
intuitive, Jessica. She's very
and the
in
same
tune.
thing, very much so. That's why I'm picking that up. And the same thing with just, I don't know. And I have that the feeling and the frequency of dealing with that and not having closure. But we can help you have closure. Okay, we can. I can, because I had to, and I can help you.
And we're all here for you too, Jessica.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, so definitely. I mean, I'm still grieving, and I put everything on hold, and it hit me.
I would appreciate that help very much. I'm so confused right now.
Yeah, you are, and
I
you know
know.
what?
It's okay. That's
And
to be
it's okay to
expected.
be confused, because you have all these feelings, and you're gonna have anger, and then you're gonna be. But I can, if you want, I can help you the way that I was working through it, and also.
I wish it would have been me. I wish it would have been me. I wish somebody could just come up.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Please don't say that, because
I really do.
No, because yeah,
I can
you don't have
empathize.
to-
I can empathize with that, Jessica.
I can
I felt I've been in that space before, so I understand.
okay.
I don't know what it's like to lose a child, but I can definitely empathize with
I can
feeling that way
empathize
after
with
having
you.
lost somebody like a family member.
I can, and I don't mean this. I didn't mean to sound like that, but no. I mean, I'm just getting a strong intuition feeling. It's not anything
No,
personal.
you're just trying to. I get what you're doing, Jen. You're
I
just
have
trying to
strong
encourage her not to go down.
emotions,
But I get where she's coming from too.
and really super quick, if I can share this, a very personal experience, because you shared yours with mine, Jessica, and I feel like I should share mine with you. When I was going through the labor and delivery process, I went and I saw the white light, and I prayed to the Creator that, please take me. I'm a sinner. I'm worthless. So save him. So I was at that.
Yeah.
that gate. So I understand. I didn't mean to be like, don't you dare. And I didn't mean to come out like that.
No, you were just trying to encourage her not to go down the dark path. That's all.
Yeah,
Because it's so easy to spiral when you're in that
it
dark place.
is.
And I know.
And I'm trying to
Oh,
save
I'm
you from
there.
that.
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm there.
Oh, I know you're there. So like, we're going to try to help you out of it. I mean, there's nothing. So that's what I mean. I was like,
We're all
I
here
don't-
for you, is basically
So-
what she's saying.
Thank you so much.
and Dottie, that is beautiful. That was so, girl, that was so beautiful. I was crying like a baby. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so wow, I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to read, but very, very amazing. So, you guys, let's see if I can, I don't know if it's appropriate for fun facts, but I don't know. I read my Gen Fun Facts.
Jessica, what were some of your daughter's favorite things?
Yes, let's talk about her.
Sunflowers. She liked sunflowers. She loved I had just got her a big bottle of Nutella. That's her favorite thing to eat.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding me. My daughter loves it too. I mean,
I was gonna-
oh,
I never
wow.
got to send it to her. I never got to send her that. I never got to send her the sunflower necklace I had just got her, and it has a and it was beautiful. It was perfect, and I wish to God I had gotten to her before she died, because maybe she'd know that I loved her, because it said I love you in 100 languages if you shine the light through the crystal. It was one of those.
What kind of music did she like, Jessica?
Country.
Okay.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Yes.
Did you barely find out that she had ran away when you found out she had passed?
No, I found that out last month.
Oh, so
And
you
she had-
found out before
She
that
didn't really run away technically. It was more like, I call it running away, because she tried to leave with her friends, and my sister called the police and told her she didn't want her to see the boy that she was seeing, so she left anyway.
Oh
So
my.
she took off, but it was because of the stuff that she was going through at home. Her uncle, she didn't want to be around because he had almost molested her, and my sister's still trying to be with him, taking his side. And she's like, okay, well, obviously this woman, my aunt, who was supposed to care about me so much that she took me from my mom, doesn't, cares more about this man. She didn't feel like anybody loved her, and she was amazing. She worked, she went to school, she was going to high school. While she was going to high school, she worked, and she was going to pre-college classes.
Did you just find out about the attempted molestation 1 month prior to her passing?
Yes, I found out that, and
Same time?
before yes, when she had ran away. That's why my sister told me at the
Same
same
time,
time.
1 month before this, you had absolutely no time to act. Jesus.
No,
Yeah, that to find her, number one. I mean, I understand how hard it
no. When she moved out, my sister said she knew where she was. She wouldn't tell me. I wanted to send her some stuff in the mail. She wouldn't tell me anything. She hasn't
Oh, wow. That's so messed up.
Yeah, she hasn't let them talk to their father in over 8 years, and he was a great dad. He never once did anything wrong.
That's absolutely horrible. And I just
He's a
there's no words
narcissist.
to explain it. Well, beyond that, it's beyond narcissist. It's evil, and it's demon in human form. These people are just absolutely.
And it's so
These people
confusing
will
because she
never
sends me
learn.
these
These people
messages
will never
saying
learn.
she loves me, and I'm like, how? How do you love me and do this to me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what's messed up, is that they were kind of like trying to make it look like it was at your home, like, but it was there. You know what I mean? Like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Just know that
Okay.
feeling now, upon their death, those guilty will feel the same. Okay.
Well, and I was blamed, if that helps,
Absolutely.
if it helps you feel, I mean, I was blamed for my son's death as well. So, and I had nothing, but anyway, so
They did try
I
to
can-
blame me. They tried to blame me. They tried to say that
Me
I
too.
should have called more
Yep.
and that she would have known that I loved her. But every time I called, they pushed me away or made me look crazy to my kids.
Wow. They had the
wouldn't
nerve
answer
to
it.
accuse you of, oh, wow. That's pretty,
Yeah.
Or
pretty
wouldn't
low.
answer the phone or wouldn't, give the message, but all this time, yeah, same thing. Okay, I can relate. Okay, so
I want to
anyways,
go
I'll
to
meet
court and get my
for
son now.
sanity.
Your son's on Instagram, I'm sure. Mine is. He's the same age almost. Mine's 16. And I
He's
found
not.
Instagram.
No, she keeps them. She keeps them secluded. They're not allowed social media. They're not allowed on the internet. They're not allowed on games online or anything because she doesn't want people that knew me as a mother to them to be able to tell them how much I really love them. She doesn't want anybody to be able to explain to them that she's lying.
He's got an account she doesn't know
That's
about.
so
She
messed up.
doesn't want people to know the truth is what it is. She doesn't want to know people that she doesn't want people to know the truth.
Exactly.
And that's what it is. They're hiding a dark, dirty secret and they want to make it seem like
I'm calling her husband's church tomorrow and I'm telling him what kind of a sick piece of crap he is.
Good. You should. You should. Somebody needs to know.
Hey, I can
Yeah.
help you write a letter that will be very impactful too. If you don't want to
That would be
sound
wonderful.
too emotional in the phone call, I'm pretty powerful with my words on writing. If you want to go ahead and make it so that he's never comfortable in his own church again.
That would be wonderful.
Absolutely.
well,
My daughter couldn't
like
be comfortable
normal.
in her home again.
Well, like normal though, they'll just change churches like my son and his wife do.
No,
like,
that's his family's church. He can't
Oh,
change churches. That's where his mama goes.
Oh, really?
where you at? Let's go. Let's attend.
Yeah.
Perfect. Good. Good. You should totally call them out.
Up in this house, boy. Okay. Anyway.
We'll make sure to go above the chain too. You know how they're usually a part of a network that's a little-
Right.
We'll make
Right.
sure to send the same letter to a couple of steps up so that if they have annual meetings, everybody knows.
You know, it's
Yes.
funny that's kind of what my buddy did with his whole CPS case to get them to back up when he did the ethics report and the Civil Rights Commission report, and then send it to the head who was in charge of all the CPS locally where we're at.
Wow.
And, they backed off. So like, but
Yeah,
same
great.
tactic, different organization, but same thing.
They preach something and they only go 1/7 of their lives, but yet they'll criticize others for believing in God and saying they
Oh.
follow God, but yet they run a church. But they
And you know how they take all of our children for no reason, pretty much. I tried to turn her into
Right.
social services, to turn her and him in, to say that he shouldn't be allowed in the house with my son after that. And they said that they couldn't do anything about it. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Because
And
they don't
we're
protect
and our
children.
taxpayer dollars are paying for this shit, people.
They
Yeah.
don't protect
Doesn't that make you
children.
mad?
Yes.
That
It
makes
does
irate.
me.
You know what? They leave children that are being abused in their home, and they take children out of safe homes because they're worth more money. So
Exactly. They don't want to take the kids that are that's why you see all the kids with the parents that are, heavily on drugs and actually abusing them, because if they take those kids, they are not going to be able to adopt them out as easily as the kids that have been cared for right.
yep. And I know that from personal experience. When my mom beat me with the belt, I called the cops and told them, and they said, "Oh, you deserved it." So yeah,
Oh,
I
no,
meant,
you did not.
so I can definitely relate.
No
That's my
child
first
deserves to be hurt.
beat with the belt. So
Do you guys want to segue into the interviews we put together for today's show? And then but we'll do a little discussion afterwards after each segment. Does that work for you guys?
Sure.
I'll let you take the lead on that, Jen, because you're hosting. We're
Okay,
letting her be
well-
host tonight because we're trying to get her with some experience. So.
Okay.
hold on a second, because I just a second. I took my
Well-
glasses off for a minute.
Oh no, you're fine. We're gonna do like basically a little roundtable, back and forth discussion after each
You
segment.
want me to do the round table? Oh my gosh.
I want you to leave it. Yes,
Or I'll just
That's
call
part-
it the
that's part of
The
the job
peace
of being a
table.
host.
Are you sure? Maybe I want to
You'll do fine. You'll do fine.
You can do it.
Oh my gosh, really? You think so?
I know so, Jen.
You're great at speaking.
I am, but yeah, okay. All right. So, all right.
So our first interview we have that we did
Oh.
some of the interviews earlier in the week. We have
Okay, with
Crystal
Crystal?
Ferrera's interview, and then we're gonna do a little roundtable discussion on that, back and forth. I think they're asleep. I don't know. They're probably passed out, both of them. I'm
You
sending the
didn't
links,
fix
but
it for
we
me.
did get lated. Oh, you wanted to do it? Go ahead. I'll let you do it. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I'll do it next time. I'll do it
No,
next
no,
time.
you can. No,
but,
I apologize. It's just force of habit. Go ahead. It's in
No,
the chat.
no, you know what? Go ahead. You did great.
No, Jen,
I'll
I insist.
do-
You go ahead. Go ahead. You got it
I
right
don't
there.
know. I can't remember how to do it. Like, cause just let me. It's not free flowing right now.
All right.
It's-
All right. Sorry. Didn't mean to steal your thunder, Jen.
You
Crystal
like
Ferrera
stole
interview.
my show.
I
That was-
apologize. My bad.
Can you believe? No, okay, but like next time, okay. But
You can do it now. You can do it.
I
for it.
can't go. I don't
Go
feel
for
it
it.
now. It's not gonna
You don't
work.
have-
It's gonna be
Do it anyway.
No,
Do it anyway. Because I guarantee if you do it, you'll feel it.
okay,
Yeah. Just try it.
okay, no.
Try it. You don't know unless you try, right?
Okay,
Go for it.
well, oh my gosh, hold on. Jeez Louise, you guys put me on the spot like that. Gosh, you want me to go on camera too?
It
Okay.
made me smile.
Oh, okay. I won't believe it until I see it. Let's see it. Hold on. Okay, let me get you to smile. Okay. All right. If it'll make you smile.
When you're
fine,
smiling,
guys,
when
you got
you're
me.
smiling, the whole world
Fine.
smiles with you.
That pressure. Fine, since you smiled. Okay. Fine. Okay, Jessica. All right. Jeez Louise. Okay.
Thank
I'll
you.
try. But anyway.
Go for it, Jen.
Pressure. Okay, stop pressuring me. She did just fine. Just be quiet. Okay. All right. I just wanted her to smile. Don't look at my messy garage. All right, now guys. Whoops, you can't see me too well, huh? Okay.
No, you
well,
look great,
now that
Jen.
we did,
You look good.
oh, you didn't let me finish. We gotta bleep that one out. We gotta bleep it out.
Go ahead.
Okay, can you mute your mic, mister? I'm kidding. Okay, smile, Jessica, again, because that was funny. All right. There, see, look, I got her smile. Okay, so thank you guys. All right, thank you, Jessica, for coming on and joining us for the what would you call it? The beautiful thing that Angela put together for your daughter. She's beautiful, got a beautiful soul, and she will not be forgotten. And we're here to help, and I am as well. I had a child that passed as well. So this personally affects me. So this is going to be a little bit different roundtable because I'm personally moved and I've been personally affected by it. So it's not going to be your typical, well, what do you think? Okay, so this is going to be a little bit a different roundtable. And I'm speaking straight from my my soul to everybody else that's been affected by the death of a child. And typically, most parents they get the call or say the kids are, really sick and the hospital only lets the parents in or something like that. Well, it's a little bit different when you are denied information, or they withhold it. I still have not received a death certificate. I don't know how he passed. But still in the midst, I am, trying to keep myself together to fight for my other children that are alive. Because Nicholas, I'm serious. He's out there. He's a warrior. He's probably watching the podcast now. Like, yeah, y'all keep going.
Jen, do you want to,
yeah.
when you're finished wrapping up what your little segment, you want to read? I sent it back to you in the chat. Who we had the interviews for, the names.
Oh yeah. Well, I just wanted to close because I felt like it was important to close this.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I was just letting you know I put it in the chat in case you needed it again.
Okay, because that can wait. But this is personally, I'm addressing Jessica right now personally because
No, do your thing. Do your thing. Don't let me interrupt. I was just letting you know I put it in the chat for you.
Okay, I lost my thought here. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. I'm gonna go ahead and read that now. I gotta put my glasses on and I'll turn my camera off because you guys don't need to see my face like that. All right. So, Oh, yeah. Okay. The Crystal Ferrera interview, the Adam and Dawn Tisdale story. And we're going to go over that. And it was a pre-recorded content. And it's unique in its nature, like all the cases. So let's play that for them. I'm winging it, and I'm probably doing.
You're doing great, Jen. You're doing
a great job. Yeah.
doing a phenomenal job.
I'm serious. I had to close that out. I wasn't done. I was about ready. So it just.
I apologize. I didn't mean to cut you off.
All right. Anyway, so go ahead and play that. Thanks.
You ready for it?
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for it.
All right, so let me play these real quick for. Sorry, folks, we're a little hectic. We're not exactly organized tonight because I just flew into Missouri for some work we're going to do for some upcoming shows. So just bear with me here. All right, here we go. So the first interview is the Crystal Ferrera interview. Here we go. Let me share my screen. All right.
Okay, so order reunifying children with mother. So the only child that's not highlighted obviously is my child in question. I had 4 children, not 3. Okay. I was reunified with 3. Even though I started doing my fucking classes, excuse my French, I started doing my classes before I received referrals, okay? So, and that's documented also in the pages right behind this. Anyway, we also have a document here, mediation agreement. We finally did a mediation agreement after I was reunified with my children. All parties signed, including guardian ad litem, even though we all knew she did not want to sign it as much as she did not want to. She did sign it. Then later on, also I want to bring up part of the major reason that we're here today 4 years later and I have not even seen my child one time. And I'm reunified with 2 other children. I was non-offending, essentially. I was in a whole different county, and so is my child, okay? This is like child hijacking is what they're doing to my child, okay? He was 11 years old, gifted, straight A's, Cambridge program, 55 inches, 101 pounds. 1 year later, I got a hold of, well, beyond 1 year later, but I did get a hold of certain medical records that showed me that he lost 20 pounds the first year he was there, okay? Nobody told me any of this, okay? And also, it wasn't until later on that I found out they were injecting my child with the flu shot, and Gardasil, and the foster mother was writing this shit down. And by the way, foster mother, when you look her name up, the only name you can find is that she donates to the Republican Party. It's kind of weird. It's weird. Anyways, our judge is actually in the same circuit, the county over, the sheriff over there. His buddy is Rick Scott.
Question: who was that person that you said was donating to the Republican Party? Who was that?
That's the foster mother.
Okay, gotcha.
No one give a fuck. I'll say names. Who? Who's married?
The judge and the sheriff.
I know who the judge and the sheriff are. I know this. Their husband and wife. 6th Circuit.
So you know what that would indicate to me? That would indicate to me this is happening regardless of party lines.
Hey, you know what? The husband's connections with Rick Scott put her in her seat. It's very apparent, has no idea what she's doing, and somebody's paying her not to even accept my evidence,
So
and she just
payoffs. Oh wow! So it's not
you know, I don't know 100%, but I mean, I do know this, that her husband fires the Eckerd's Connect agency that's like right below DCF, or how does it go? Yeah, it was like DCF, Eckerd's, and then YFA, and then you know.
You said you're in Florida, right?
Yes, I am.
What part? Out of curiosity.
So I'm like right on the border. I'm right in the center of the 6th Circuit, right on the border of Pinellas and Pasco.
Okay.
This is out of Pasco County. I was in Pinellas County at the time, actually, and I had been staying in Pinellas County for a month, excuse me. Prior to this stems on, I was actually mother of 3, stay-at-home mom. Loved my job. My biggest problem in life a few months before this was what nutritious meal I was going to make my children when they got home. Well, actually, I stayed home with 2 children who were 17 months apart, both in diapers at the time. And unfortunately, at that time in our lives, long story short, the father of my children, he started, not coming home, not paying bills, unbeknownst to me. And I get a knock at the door, boom. Next thing you know, we got 1 week to get out, and we're evicted. And then he steals, manages to steal all the money I had saved to put things into storage.
Why don't you start back before CPS, like when CPS first got involved and they started
Right, okay. So
4 years ago, right?
And the portion that they keep trying to take out, let me see if I can find that. Actually, it is right here, is 6/19/18. Okay, that was the first time my child got out. So we have 3 children. Our second child we believe to be vaccine injured, and he's an escape artist. Grab those pictures up there. I'm gonna show them. Okay, just the whole stack over there. What drawer? The drawer to the right, it should be here in the middle. Yeah, all that. Thank you. That's good. Okay. So we need our son to be an escape artist. His name is Maddox. We call him Max. And so the locks we would put on our doors were called Max locks. And we were pretty creative in trying to get him out. As a matter of fact, I have a picture of one of the creative ideas we had. I don't know how well you can see that. But anyways, so this one particular day, I go across the street to give some coupons actually to the neighbors, and I'm getting ready to go to the grocery store, and he's actually home sleeping, and my oldest child, 11 years old at the time, was home waking up, and the babies were still actually asleep. So I told him, hey, I'm going to run up to the store. It was my son's birthday party. I was going to go get some things. Long story short, mother's intuition kicked in, and after giving the neighbors the flyers, boom, I decided to go back home instead of the store. And it's just a matter of moments. My child gets out. Anyways, 6/19, they I think have it in the record once, maybe twice, but they keep having these I forget what they're called. I don't have any in this stack right here. Summary of methodology, something to that effect, of how they're making their fucking decisions over and over. And instead of having the dates in exact order, they're using 2 different dates and trying to mix it up. And they're trying to especially leave this one out. And this is the one where I actually let them. I had a previous.
It sounds like they're forging documents. That's what it sounds like to me.
Oh, I've got so much forgery going on. Pertaining to a 39.407. I don't know if you're familiar with that. That's with the psychotropics in children and stuff. I have evidence of them coercing me into it, saying ultimately that I get up to see my son if I did do it. So I agreed. My son getting his attorney ad litem to now represent him, because we're getting closer and closer now. Mind you, the fucking aliens, whatever you want to call them, demons, I don't know, the dark forces that have the dark hearts that are trying to prevent a loving mother from her child. And he's my actual son's abusers. Anyway, now he gains this attorney who's the one who, and of course, from liability, no oversight. We've got all kinds of civil rights here. I've signed some religious exemption, filed it. They used my son as a pawn to testify on stand that I threatened his pediatrician father, which came out to be false, but they refused to acknowledge it. And so they're contributing to a delinquency of a minor here by having him stand on in like, why is an adult stepping in here and saying, son, this is not true, you know, and it's not appropriate to lie and perjure yourself on the record. And then because of that, I get a judgment against me that now it's just like a playbook, a pawn in their game. Now all of a sudden I cannot speak to my son's providers anymore because of this, and I never got due process for it. And we're coming up to the birthday batch, which is pretty sickening. She's got 10 boys living in her home on the lower level and eating donated food. And my son, the last time I saw him was when he was he had just graduated 5th grade. He was just accepted into the Cambridge. This is when he was 55 inches, 101 pounds. He doesn't look overweight to me at all.
He's not. He's not.
The ladies are loving him, you know. I'm super proud of him.
You should. You should be.
Over 2 years later, I start to get pictures of my son again, and I realize how incredibly thin and disturbed my child looks.
Oh,
Okay,
wow. That don't look right.
I've only seen like 3 or 4 photos of my child in 4 years. I've never spoken to him once aside from the 3 Zoom visits. First one was great. I know that my son loves me, and I know the things that he's saying is not right. What's really going on here?
They're brainwashing him, is what it sounds like to me.
This is a picture of him before he was taken from me. He used to always love to wear this. Oh yeah. They're grooming the children. Okay, my child. God bless him. He was 11 years old, not 13. They put him in a 13 to 17 home. Unless her home is magically like for everything. She's been doing it for 30 years. An attorney has told me that she has her claws into my child, and she's like a part of their system and everything. And she wants my child, but she's basically being manipulated by my by my in-laws. Okay, I'm reunified. Okay. There's no safety plan that says that they cannot bring my child home. They're violating my fucking rights here as a mother. I should be able to go get my child. And if he says he's
violating your rights, you're right.
And trying to say that they said no to the reunification because my child says that he'll run away. First of all, my child was coached. We already had the state appointed, not my appointed, but the state appointment's child psychologist and former case manager testify that my son's statements are coerced. Okay, so we know this on record. But now we have a new judge, and her and the guardian lighting don't recall this at all. And then child says he's not. They ask the child, do you think you're coerced? What the fuck kind of a judge would ask a child this? This is theatrics, okay? This is like fucking crazy.
It is theatrics.
Okay, and I literally even have a fucking, what's it called? Psychological assessment, which I had asked for a forensic evaluation, not a psychological evaluation or assessment or whatnot. And the first line in it says that child is a 13-year-old Caucasian attractive male. And I found that very eerie that it would be that way. Then it says major concern.
That's a red flag.
Yeah, okay. You should see what the fucking therapist of 2 years who got the referral from the department yet did not contact the department. It took us 2 years and 2 court orders later to even receive any type of document that he even saw Donovan and saw 10 kids in the same home, which gives me the Gabriel Myers kind of concerns here, okay? Something's going on.
By the wording of that, it sounds like they're trafficking kids.
Oh, absolutely. You should see the psychological assessment about the matrix that they talk about. First of all, you'll see here, and I don't even give a fuck, this bitch signed to it, so, but she did put a disclaimer in here due to COVID effects that, like, none of the stimulation or something like that. I don't know if you'll ever be able to get a picture of that. Let me go on to the second page. Background.
She's forwarded this to you now.
What do you see?
Yeah, so it says Donovan isn't okay. Oh yeah, I see that. Oh my God, that's a red flag right there.
Now the next highlighted line, the 2 words, major concern.
Is the one who gave history to the examiner. He stated that he does not have any major concerns about Donovan. Previously, he lived with and grandmother from 4 ages to 10 years of age. Okay, and then. Yeah, it sounds like she's freaking behind it, doesn't it? Like the grandma?
Oh, yeah, that's what everybody's saying. We all know this. I got plenty of evidence for it. But here's the funny part. You want to see the matrix portion? Hold on a second. Oh, wait, here's the medicine part. He sees a psychiatrist, but he doesn't take any medication because, they haven't coerced me to sign shit at this point, apparently.
Right.
I guess, or maybe, but I know for a fact that they already had him on meds. Okay, I know for a fact. And I can prove that too.
Yeah, because they're drugging these fucking kids, and then like
They are for more money, I guess, or for compliance. I'm not sure. They're they're grooming the children to think that they can get the attorney, which I have proof of how he got the attorney here. Okay, this is when I just saw this one after I obtained the record. I never actually saw this, but it was disgusting. It's the only objection. I didn't know what a fucking record was. Excuse my French, but I didn't know what a record was until I obtained my motion for discovery that I demanded for. I don't know if you could get all that, but it says order appointing counsel for minor child pursuant to 39.01305 of Florida statute. And it's under 1B, prescribed psychotropic medication, but declines assent to the psychotropic medication. So first of all, we know they're lying on the date on this. Okay.
Right.
And they're trying to say this is how he's getting the attorney, but this is not how the 39 statute is actually even read. It's read that if the child is already, once he's in custody, already on the medication, not 2 years in,
right.
Then he has a civil liberty interest to have his own attorney to represent the fact that he does not want to take the meds anymore. That's
Right.
not how it's designed. That, hey child, we're going to groom you to stay away from your fucking parents, isolate you every fucking chance we get, and we're going to give you this attorney, and now you're going to take psych meds. It's the sick and fucking disgusting.
It is sick because they're all colluding. They're all part of
I
it.
heard they just got in trouble with this a few years back, and now here we go again with my child, and I think I'm going to keep quiet and shut up about it. And to a certain extent, on certain things I might, but we shall see, because we are going to take it to a trial by jury. And I'm just now becoming aware of an international court, which, I'm not a very conflictful person. I don't like conflict. I really don't want to have to do this. I feel like I've been doing too much. I've ended up in the hospital over this. My younger kids deserve more than mommy always fucking working on paperwork,
Right.
trying to fucking highlight all their lies line by line. But the funny part, let's look at the fucking matrix that they mentioned in my child's psychological.
Yeah, definitely.
You fucking believe it. I'm like,
Hopefully we can help you
really
shoulder
think
some of the
he
burden
knows
with our team and our team of advocates too, to some extent.
say that part again.
I said hopefully we can help you shoulder some of that burden. Like getting, by getting your story out there. We have a team of advocates that we help other victims who are going through this. Like, that's why
Please, if there's anybody out there that can help me expedite this, please, before his birthday batch. Okay, my son's birthday batch is 9/15. Actually, technically, it's 9/8. Okay.
I just wanted to talk about the account.
Where is the matrix portion?
Kind of like the U.S. government, trust but verified. Like it's 1.8
Okay.
million.
The Fluid Reasoning Index consists of 2 subtests, including matrix reasoning and figure weights. And I just thought it was kind of crazy that you can see in here.
matrix configuring. Did it say?
Listen, we read the whole top.
Oh, right, matrix reasoning. Oh wow,
Okay, they're
they're
like
totally brainwashing these kids.
Bro, and do they really think that a mom would, okay, first of all, my son's gifted straight A's in the Cambridge program. Do they really think that a flat earth mom like this was not going to read their bullshit and try to put this shit together? Like, no, I'm going to find the fucking answer. I'm going to crack their fucking matrix code that they have here in a different fucking court somewhere. If somebody can please help me. Because my children tell me, hey, Mom, if there is a God, he'll come down and he'll fix this. And I have to believe that I'm like David and Goliath here, and I have a mustard seed of faith, and I am just begging God, because I have to prove to my children, God, that you're real. And I know that you come in the last hour, Father God, and I know there's just no way, bro. Like, God did not put this passion in my heart for me to just stop right where I'm at. And I'm going to keep going further, and I'm always going to try to help the cause, some underground railroad shit, whatever, you know.
No, that's kind of how I feel about this cause, and then the whole all this corruption that we're seeing with the medical field, and then the CPS field, and then even in the school boards. Like, it's all tied in. It's all part of the same systemic problem that's coming.
Yes, yeah. I don't know too much about the school boards, which is interesting. I need to look into, because that's on my to-do list, is to call the school boards about these other reasons.
My buddy has been able to tie it. Now he's ex Blackwater, right? Mind you. Now he's got He's still got some clearances that he can utilize, but he has been able to tie together the racketeering through the school boards and here locally in Vegas, and then the Clark County Detention Center, and then also the Department of Health and Human Services and CPS. They're all racketeering together. That's a little triad they got going on, and we've seen a lot of the same things in other cities too. Except the only angle we haven't really been looking at is the school boards, but we think it's going through those three. Everywhere else in the world, that we're seeing this go on. That's been the pattern that we've been noticing as we've been learning more and more, and hearing more and more cases and stuff.
I asked for your help. You were more interested in Rachel.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think. Okay, yeah, so we've had all kinds of due process issues. I've got a couple of these appeals that were unanswered, when I had my whole District Court of Appeals packet, excuse me. Me and the children are sick today.
When they first came in and took your kids, what was the reasoning that they gave you?
Okay. So, like I said, the date that they're trying to leave out is 6/9, where they, and I had already had a removal previously. I was wrongfully arrested for a crime, and I had to take it to trial for 18 months, and I had to put my case plan on hold, and my ex-in-laws got guardianship of my child temporarily. The day that they dropped the charges 18 months later, I got to motion the courts to reopen it, and thank God I got it CPR'd back to life, and I got my child back again. Okay,
gotcha.
So, when this happened, like I was saying, the father of my children wasn't paying bills. I became homeless with 2 children in diapers and my oldest son, never being homeless before in my life. And I had depended on a man for myself to take care of my children. Couldn't afford anything. And I bounced around for 3 months. Now, they first put a safety plan in and helped us, even though all of the doors had multiple locks on it. One door that it would take a very strong man to even open. As a matter of fact, it never opened for us except for the one time we were robbed out of it. I don't know if they used a crowbar or whatever to get in, but anyway, they felt more comfortable putting a little plastic thing at the back of our thing, having us sign a case plan. That was fine. I don't know how long the case plan or not a case plan, a safety plan. I don't know how long that lasted, but that happened in June. In August, we were evicted from our home. So we went to his mother's house before we made it down to Pinellas and our father, to my mother's house. And
so this was back in 2018, correct? Or was it
2018? Yes, okay. Yes. In June, and then again in August is when we were evicted. September of 2018, September 7th, we'll talk about that. Okay, so the 3rd and the 5th, my children got out of their grandmother's home, and by pushing the chair up to the door with the chain lock, and showed the police exactly how he did it. We didn't even know he could do it the first time. Put the chain up, chain, alarm, lock, got out. Then we moved down to Pinellas. They transferred our safety plan or whatever we were under, I guess you could say, back down to Pinellas. And they would advise me, my mother, and even though the father of my children and I were not together at the time, he did stay with us. Him and my mother got into a fist fight. So I called him. I was like, waiting on their ELC, and we were missing a document for one of our children to get into, and we weren't together, but I was missing a document for my child to get into ELC. And so they had advised me, go to the great-grandfather's house, go to the mother's house. So it had nothing to do with you and your ex-boyfriend, just go ahead and go there. So they advised me how to bounce around. They had given me shelter, phone numbers, but I had already called them for like 6 weeks straight prior to us being evicted. I was already trying to escape the situation. Okay. So unfortunately there was no avail there. So I'm down in 3 weeks into it. So I'd given my oldest child, who I had previous alienation issues with before, given it to his father. Within a week or so, he took my child and went to Ocala. So I was planning to file jurisdiction for my child back down here, even though his father had never completed case plans before in the past. I was planning to file jurisdiction down here. And before that date arrived, the father of my children had my children for 72 hours. In those 72 hours, he had fallen asleep, taken a nap with the children. They woke up, pushed the chair up to the door again, and got out again. And I get a phone call while I'm in a different county saying, hey, we just found your children outside and we are going to take them. Even the first time they had the interactions with me, they said that everything was perfect. The children didn't look neglected, abused, everything was fine,
Seems like they'll use any excuse these days, huh?
Oh yeah,
dang.
and that's the threats I keep receiving. That all it takes is one lie, and that's why I want to start putting my fucking story out here. That hey, put on notice that I totally expect some sort of retaliation, and I'm not going for it. Okay, and we're gonna take care of this in a peaceful way, as to the highest point that we can. Okay, because that's what's deserved for my son and his care, his short and long term mental health care. And to make my family feel whole again, okay? To whatever degree that God sees right and fit, and the Supreme Daddies do as well. So anyways,
good to me. I think that's a solid plan.
Yeah. So I just wanted to show you again what
I love that you're not going to stop. That's awesome.
This little boy right here. So this, and if you fucking think that this is acceptable to this in virtual school, and if you look up
that's miserable there.
If you look up under Google Department of Children and Families, Eckerd Connects, how many foster children have the COVID vaccine, you'll see the news article with, what was it, ABC, baby? ABC Action News I-Team Kylie McRibbon's episode where she exploits all the foster children in her home, and because I had filed the religious exemption, and so thinking exploitation, she's defamed my character, libel, slander, and she has brainwashed my child away from me. She has been doing this for 30 years. I don't know what she's been doing for 30 years. This is especially what she's been doing, but she's narcissistic all the way, just like my ex-in-laws. And they're trying to tell me my child is as well, which I know that parental alienation actually presents that way to certain people who are not educated enough in the field. So they're taking it the wrong way. And I know that my child has a heart of gold, okay, and he always has, and he needs to hurry up and get the fuck out of there. And there's no fucking legal standing.
His mental state is a direct result of their abuse, and
it is. And he was perfectly fine. The family functioning assessment said he was a perfect child. Nothing fucking happened until all of a fucking sudden I started pursuing this fucking reunification a little bit further.
Yeah, they're retaliating is all it is. And they've been doing that to me.
It's retaliation. It's retaliation, and it's probably not going to fucking end, but I know what's going to happen is eventually this is going to resolve, and this is, I'm just pleading out to anybody who's hearing this broadcast, if you can fucking please help me. I am expecting a tax return. I have to stay on the phone all day. I'm just going to go ahead and make the appointment to go down there because we're not doing it by phone apparently very well with these people from India.
Yeah, no, that makes it all more complicated. It's like, what? Thank you. How can I help you today?
Lordy Marty.
What a nightmare that could be, huh?
Yeah, and listen, like, I'm freaking out because we have court coming soon. We have this fucking staffing where they're going to talk about, I was trying to get the bonds number and the fucking insurance company name, and it turned in, and I also mentioned to them that I have reason to believe like that Jill and what's the little girl's name, Mayla's story, my child's not where they say he is. And so in asking for that, I did mention that to them because I have a concern. Should I call in a welfare check, or should I call in the Ryla Wilson Act? I'm court ordered to receive a monthly picture of my child, but I get none. I've had 4 now. And I'm like, if you're really complying and doing your documentation, why don't you just give me the picture that you get monthly,
Right.
So they ended up sending me a thing for staffing because they realized, oh, we haven't even paid attention to her. Matter of fact, I had to pay for my own hair follicle, and I'm now asking them, where do I send my $100 invoice for the hair follicle that I had to do to make sure that I
ignored you or completely stonewalling you, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And then come to find out after reading the record, apparently I pretty much never got any court orders, to be honest with you. But one of the very first court orders was very interesting with the guardian ad litems promoting all of this extra visitation, phone visitation, whatever. And when I hear about it and I requested absolutely not, and come to find out, I even tried to complete everything way before I was even due. I wasn't even in the county. So there was something a little off from the very beginning.
Right.
And that they had just came from the alienator's house, the most manipulative people you'll ever meet. Sorry, it's past our bedtime.
No, you're fine.
he's got to get up early. I quit my job just to go on hard on this case. And I don't know what platform people read this or listen to this, but
Well, we're on Facebook, Rumble, Twitter, Twitch.
if you can
also
just like
Telegram.
if you can possibly add my like Facebook link on there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of
Somebody
course
that
we
can
will.
help me write a USC 1983, figure out how, like, I'm going to e-file probably before I go to bed, or if not, first thing in the morning, a notification that I am my own attorney. I'm acting as my own attorney, so please, send all, because I know they've messed up my due process rights with court appearances before, either through e-file and through email that I never received. So I don't trust in this last court hearing. Notification for it is written completely different and has a lot of very suspect things on here. And it's saying I have to appear in person. And before it was always the other way around. I always wanted to appear in person, and it had been recently since the whole COVID thing lifted. But now they're saying like I have to appear in person. I can't do it like Zoom, which I would actually prefer at this point. I was planning to do it from a different location and have other people with me. But they're saying I have to appear in person. So I am going to be acting as my own attorney and try to file some motions to like waive my appearance for that. But I got to get something in before then. I got to stake my claim. What happens to be mine on this day right now. They owe me my child. So I got to get this in right away. If somebody can help me, please. Like I said, I'm getting my taxes in the next 2 months, hopefully. My 2021s and my 2020s, which I'm having the issue with.
I think, did you hear about the CDC's lifting of all the COVID protocols that they were having people do about the quarantine and all? Now they're saying, oh, you don't have to do that anymore. All of a sudden, like it's not a big deal. Yeah, it's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, and I worked in the medical field for quite a while. I was started off on the floor at a nursing home and worked my way up into the office as well with administrative HR assistant. And yeah, you should definitely want to check out what this foster lady has done to my child with that. She like put her own bosses, I guess, in other words, but those probably really are not her bosses. Eckerd Connect, right before they got fired in August. I think it came out August 26th or August 27th of 2021. ABC Action News, Kylie McRiven, DCF Eckerd Connects, COVID vaccine for children data collection, something like that. Google that, something along that line. Let's actually get the data on what happens to these children, because I see children go into the system quite a bit, but I don't see a whole lot go out.
Right.
I've only seen like 1% of all the people I've met in this world so far have actually left foster system. Like where did they go?
Where did they go?
Why are they trying so hard to alienate my child from me? They're the lengths that they are going. There's something more to this.
They're going to some very extreme lengths.
Why did my child lose 20 pounds the first year he was there? Why is everybody trying to hide all this stuff? What's going to happen to me for keep saying this stuff? I need to get I need to get a lawsuit in. Okay. And I do run a dependency group for women, and I've had to put that on hold. I put a lot of things on hold in my life to get this case going, and I was going the appellate fucking realm thinking that eventually I'm going to get a final order, and then I'm saying, oh, the child can stay in fucking foster care till he's 21, and
oh wow.
Yeah, and so I have to keep complying with you bitches that hate me until then, and you have jurisdiction over me. I have to thwart this shit off of me. I have to get a fucking civil rights subject matter. And
what my buddy did to help get them to back off was he filed an ethics report with your local, and then you take the reference number from the ethics report and you file a civil rights with the civil rights report.
Can you put me in touch, or can you just type all that out for me?
Yeah, I can put you in touch with my. I'll send you his Facebook. He can walk you through what he did for sure.
Like the second or bigger mind-blowing fucking event in my life to find out that this was all a charade, fake, like the fucking papers the shit was printed up on isn't even worth the fucking ink that they paid for it. Okay. Not at all. And where the fuck is my child? They just hijacked my child. And why would you give these other parents to fucking fuck up, and me, a person who had from day one has done nothing but be in 100% compliance. 100% compliance to the point where I have to go pay for my own hair follicle. Okay. and make sure that they're in compliance as well.
Yeah, they're absolute hypocrites, and they're
I have
breaking the law them damn
I have a
selves.
target on me, and I have to get this jurisdiction up off me and my children, or I'm gonna have to fucking like, yeah. So, what would you like to ask me?
Did you have any questions for her, Dottie, you wanted to ask?
Any questions?
No, I was asking Dottie if she had any questions for you that she wanted to ask.
It sounds a lot like mine with everything going on. A lot like mine, where they've taken my daughter, drugged her, say she doesn't want to speak with me. It's the play, dude. They're just trying to steal our kids.
Yes, and I wonder if my son was 11 years old. He just turned 15. It's been going on 4 years.
So he was 11 when they
Photo I took of him. This was the last photo I took of my child. And it wasn't until over a year and a half later did I see a picture of him 20 pounds later. What have they done to my child? The family assessment says he was perfectly fine. So did all the,
He looks like he's got bruises under the eyes or bags, even.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. But
we all know that they're just trying to destroy the families, and until we step up.
To my child, he wasn't overweight, and this fucking dumbass bitch says no. What he does is he eats donated food, from what I hear.
What?
Yeah, it's 2 houses in one, and it's a fucking huge mansion on the water. And she had houses for 30 years now, 10 boys from that age group that he was not even supposed to be in that home with these children. And I have these Gabriel Myers concerns. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of who that is and what kind of compliance they were supposed to have with that, but they don't anymore for whatever reason. Last selfie of me and him, we were like so happy.
He looks miserable in that other photo where he's by the tree.
Oh my god, I know, the foster child photo. Like, who's the fucking foster child here? And that's
right.
Just know it's about my fucking money, and I can't even believe I didn't know what the fuck I know now. And I hope to create some sort of organization where, and go to where they target, poor income families and get them, to know what the fuck the real laws are here and the real right. And I definitely need help with the civil rights thing because I have wasted too much fucking time learning this stupid appellate fake game of theirs. Which I think,
they're all acting under color of law is what they're doing. So their whole game is null and void, anyways. That's where they get people. Most people don't realize it's not a real freaking. It's not common law at all. They're operating under color of law, which means illegal law.
Yeah, so I'm trying to do my 83 one. I was born in 83.
Oh, me too. I'm an 83 baby too.
Okay, yeah, we're all 83 babies over here. This is my handsome young man, and his name is Donovan Charles Ferrera. And of course, what they want to do is change the child's name. My ex-in-laws, when they first got their hands on my child, my son, we called him Donnie, Donny. Of course, the first thing they do is take my son at 4.5 years old and teach him it's Donnie.
Oh.
I'm his mom. I'm the one that named him.
Right.
I spent a lot of time.
Do that shit. That's messed up.
Yeah, I know. So we're about to see. I need to get this 1983 put in. I need all the help. I mean, I've got torts. I've got religious violations that I deem religious. Knowing that the mother has a religious thing on file, you think it's appropriate to go behind her back and find her the father who has not been a part of the case on fucking Facebook as a guardian ad litem?
No, it's not appropriate at all. It's conflict of interest.
There's so much sick stuff this foster mother has tried to do that people would not go along with her bullshit. There's sick shit that she's just done, and she can't even keep up with her own lies. She lies that much. I can't even imagine a job to sit there with liars and just sit there and lie and lie and lie.
I could never be around people like that. I'm an empath.
I wonder there's a high turnover rate here. It's because of that shit. And then part of the problem is they say that supposedly in my first hearing, and I didn't even know anything about this, that I requested a dual joint discretion between guardian ad litem and the Department of Children and Family. Please run the fucking tapes back on that one because that's never happened. I never heard of that. I didn't even know we were on some, whatever. I knew the department had discretion. I never heard of her. This foster mother or this guardian ad litem chick is some evil gargoyle bitch. I don't wish to speak ugly about a person, but I can tell you that I don't like I've had a lot of people do a lot of crazy fucked up things to me, and I don't like have ill will towards anybody or have harbor like feelings, but that lady really almost puts me there. I mean, she really does, almost pretty much puts me there. Okay.
Well, it seems like they know they're doing this. I mean, they obviously, if they're willing to go to those lengths to get kids,
The lengths that they go through, the hacking.
then they must have no soul because they've lost their way. Obviously, I mean, in my opinion, that would explain why they're so damn dark. I mean, I could see myself like, because what Angie's told me about her case and the Guardian Light and what she did there, whoo, that made me freaking mad. I mean, that put me in a rage. And like what we're seeing with your case and other cases around the country, the Guardian Light are definitely being complicit in this, I think.
Okay, so listen, I have just a little bit of time. I gotta start fucking doing shit. I gotta get them the fuck up off me. They're already trying to start some shit about the custodial interference. I hope what I mentioned to them was like, hey, I want to file a grievance with your civil rights coordinator so that way I can file a grievance, and how yesterday's events played out, how I am concerned and have been told that my child likely is not even in the department's care and custody, and I would just like to know, is my child all right? Please send me a picture.
Proof of life, you know?
Yeah, like any mother would.
Absolutely.
I asked them to give me 3 days to give me all the information, but do I fucking think as an administration they're gonna do that? Fucking I don't.
Jen, are you there? You want to go ahead and begin the roundtable on that, back and forth? Jennifer. Jennifer. Earth to Jennifer. Hello. Well, why don't we just begin until she comes back? If she's probably away using the restroom or getting something to eat or something. So let's just get started, and then we'll let her take the lead as soon as she gets back. Did you want to tell our viewers, Jessica, what you just put in the chat for us? Let's start off with that. I think that'd be a great way to start it.
Yes. I believe that they take they get paid more for children that have Medicaid or psychological issues, that they have, like, if they have like real bad medical problems, then they can dope them up and keep making money on them well into adulthood, even if they're bad enough. And they get paid more for children that have medical or psychological issues. And then also, I mean,
You are correct.
like, yeah, like they can just keep. Okay, a friend, well, not my friend, but it was a little boy that came online. Now he's my friend. He was begging for help. And his older autistic sister, they had taken her, and she was just about to turn 18. And the reason they were trying to get a hold of her so bad is because she was, so autistic that she couldn't talk to anybody but him. So it would have been easy for them just to dope her up and keep making money on her.
Absolutely. And it's a long-term guaranteed income for them too.
Yes.
And yes, you're correct that they do target the disabled more. It's even in their training manuals.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, their training manuals see that as the fault. Actually, they even account for a child's responses as the parent's maltreatment number.
Wow.
I mean, you think you're at a ridiculous point now, but you understand it gets worse. It is absolutely horrific. For example, our friend Crystal was speaking about this matrix she was hoping to learn about. And I think I know which one she's talking about. It could be this one, or the matrix of how they rate whether or not somebody is a high risk. That one is based on all of your civil rights violation points: race, gender, age, etc. Okay.
Wow.
Yes. And if the child's ever been in the system before, which is usually their fault too. Okay. So, yeah, I know. And that increases your number. So the second time around, if they do come, they're not giving it back, your child back, because the number increases. The statistical value gets too high to return the child. They don't even plan to.
Even if it's their fault.
Yeah, they don't care about that.
Wow.
Just that the value, the number, the calculation is high if that's the case, if it's a second round. But here's the other example of the matrix that she's talking about. Okay, and it goes through a list of, is there an issue? What is the issue? And it's a matrix of alcohol and drug service system, the child welfare service system, and the dependency court systems. Okay, so that's the top line. And then it runs down of the questions and the threat assessment values. Okay, so
Wow.
my highlighted one that I plan on asking them next month about. Okay, it says, this is child welfare service systems. What is the extent of the issue? And this is family assessment of strengths and needs to determine the areas of family functioning requiring interventions for children to be safe in a permanent living situation that contributes to their well-being. So as Americans and as normal people believe, that means they're not in a permanent situation at that time and they were not safe. But that's
Right.
not what they mean. That is not what they mean.
Exactly.
And I know, don't get me started, but requiring is what I'm going to tell them. There is no such thing as requiring you guys to intervene in anybody's life because you didn't get that power from Congress. You are a second tier. And actually, that is not even a power Congress can give away. So I'm going to be asking them about that. But I believe, just to wrap it up, that's the matrix that she was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on
Thank
it.
you. That makes a lot of sense.
That's really interesting, like, to how you can break it down. And it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? Organized and strategic. Like, I mean, they're not messing around. I mean, they're coming after these kids.
No, this is planned.
Yeah, and like how, just how planned it is that you can get it down to the wire like that, like down to, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it does take a minute to put your brain around it. Like you really have to let that absorb in and just.
Echo.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You were getting an echo.
Person,
your computer.
Head around this, okay? This is insanity, and that's what they bank on, because this is pure communism to simplify.
Coming through my head.
I was getting.
Oh shit.
Yes, they have a steering committee, and the steering committees have sub-steering committees. Can you believe they call it steering committees?
Huh.
Steering committees. What are you steering the population to? Perceived behavior. You all are biased against these people, so you're going to steer them into behavior that you like, based on your lack of education, people that are highly educated beyond your education. I mean, it's just ridiculous what we're dealing with. We can argue all day about their logic, but it's fruitless because they're communists. So, yeah, I will be outing them next month, hopefully. Well, if they don't shut me up, we'll see.
Well, I don't think they can shut all of us up at once.
That's true. So we should get a couple of us on that meeting, on that virtual webinar.
Definitely.
Yeah, because they need to be asked these questions in front of their peers.
What's your opinion, Desiree? How would you fight this? For our viewers that might need advice on how to go about something like this if they're going through something similar.
For Crystal?
Yes, correct.
I could not imagine being in her shoes because she has some at home. And the minute she counterattacks, they will attack her and take her children. That is known across the board. That's why a lot of people and lawyers don't do this, because they fear for their own kids and their own grandkids. So she's in a hard place, harder than I could imagine. I don't know if I could make that decision. So I think it's best if we find out if they are hurting her son. I think that's important. Very
Agreed.
important.
That's top priority.
We need to assess his risk value, his actual risk value, you guys. We need to see if they have history at this home. We need to look at these people, see if they've ever been accused. That's all we need is an accusation, because if we could find one, it's true. Okay. Most people that don't do that sort of thing get something online that says they might have, if you know what I mean. So after we assess the risk of her son, then we will make plans after, because her other children are at risk. You guys? Did they cut me off?
Here.
Huh?
I'm here.
Okay, I thought I got cut off.
trying to talk.
Dottie was trying to say something. She forgot she was muted.
Oh,
So once that information you get back that you receive when you go and you investigate, then you'll make decisions accordingly to that information, right?
Correct, because we don't know if we want to put her other children at that risk to be taken and then them be harmed by the system. If you know what I mean. I think she has
Right. So wow, yeah, I wouldn't want to be in that position to try to make that kind of decision on what, like, where's the number? Where do you, what way, oh, these kids are more important than this one, or this is more riskful, and that this one doesn't, because you almost would feel like that one wouldn't matter as much, or it would seem that one doesn't matter as much. That is a really tough spot to be in.
It's a decision a mother should not
have to make. Right. No, I do not envy that decision she has there. Like that, I have one and done. I was grateful for the one. They took her. I'm fighting just for one. I could not imagine fighting this battle for more than one. 3 souls you're trying to save. It's got to be 3 times as stressful, as hard. I couldn't imagine fighting for more than one child.
I know, right? And with 3 at home, you can't even hear your door knock without panicking. I mean,
right.
I'm PTSD there. I cannot imagine having, and that's partly the reason my kids aren't here, because I already know they'll be at my door the next day, or in the middle of the night, I should say. I already know that. So it's still not safe, and they won't be home until it is.
Right.
It doesn't, for that to happen to them, that would be irresponsible and selfish of me to bring them home today, knowing that.
Exactly. So what do you think the overall picture that, most people should be gearing up to do? Like, what can the collective do together, or, in groups?
I believe the best thing for everybody to do is collect their thoughts and absorb what's actually happening here.
Right.
Okay? It is chaotic. And when you try and explain it to the outside world, it's not going to happen, because this is insanity, and it was framed that way. I need people. That's why my timeline is so important to me, because it's a way that you can absorb it yourself to relay it to others.
Exactly. Because, it is foreign and like insanity to a lot of people still, even though we're so like, this is what we eat, sleep, deal with. It seems on day in and day out, there's so many people out here that don't have a clue what's going on in most of these courtrooms, especially family court.
Yeah, we definitely still got a lot of work to do, I think.
There is, but there are quick fixes, potentially. Okay, and like I said, people, there is hope, and there is out here working on it.
The more pushback we provide, the better.
Right, and SCOTUS has done their part, okay? They definitely stepped up to the plate. Don't listen to the propaganda on the mainstream media, please. They have done several cases, and they're re-examining Chevron deference. Look it up. It is directly associated with what we're dealing with right now, and you guys not getting your due process rights, okay? Chevron deference. And so they're re-examining that. They took powers away with the EPA case. So there are people there working with us. The Congress doesn't know what to do yet, because we have to get louder for them to act, okay? Congress works for the people, and the only way that Congress will act is if the people are shouting, unfortunately. So that's another side. I don't like it either. I don't think you should have to be loud. I don't think you should have to burn down.
Congress is corrupt too, some.
They can block.
They're going to lose their job if they don't listen to the people. It's really comes down to that, whether they're good
Exactly.
or not. It's irrelevant
Because they're not doing their jobs.
right.
They're a
And-
criminal enterprise.
Right.
point.
And I mean, there's a lot to the story, but the time to get loud is not the 6th. Okay. The time to get loud was when they were loud at the polls, if you know what I mean. So you've got to be there standing up like you want to, you know, but not violently, because that's how they
No,
look
that's
bad.
how they'll get us.
The minute you break the law, your voice becomes small. And
Exactly.
this battle has been such a challenge because,
Yeah.
and they have been attacking with the police. And I would say it's been a challenge to not become part of their system and a victim. It's
Right.
very, very, very tricky. But yeah, I can go on and on and on about it. But yeah, I think that people just grasping the concept of the mass insanity that we're dealing with first and get their story straight so they can tell others concisely and clearly. Okay. My best suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah, because everybody, when they tell their story, and mind you, we all understand, and we've all generally gone through this generally. Okay, I'm not saying I could never lose. If any of the stories I'm hearing now happened to me, it would be a different story today for me. And that's what I'm gonna wrap it up to the Fifth Amendment on that one after, because I couldn't do it. But ooh, don't get me started. I could go on and on about this.
No, that's excellent advice, though.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
But that would be our first step. The second step after that, because once they're able to tell their stories, it can get louder. Okay. And people can get up there at the steps of their state capitals and get on a bullhorn and tell their stories in a way that people won't just walk by and shake their heads thinking that they're abusers. That's what's going on. Okay. Or they think they're a lower class. No. When I first did my rally at the Million Parent March in 2017, that's the courthouse rally that they retaliated on me against. There was a doctor at DC doing a speech, and that was a wake-up call for me, because it's like, oh my God, he's a doctor. He's the one that they're supposed to listen to. And if you look it up, Million Parent March on YouTube, you should be able to find his speech. But yeah, I mean, I think people like that, like our friend Crystal's a nurse. She needs to get up there and be not so stressed out from them, because that's their goal to do. They want you to look a certain way so people can view you a certain way and not hear.
Exactly.
That's their goal. When it's gaslighting, it's completely the opposite. It's them. It's them who are insane. It's them who aren't.
They're the criminals.
I mean, exactly. We all know that.
Exactly. It's funny how they try to do that, like, because like they try to bring people as sovereign citizens, but in reality, if you look up the definition of sovereign citizen, it says those who think they are above the law. Well, that's what they're doing. They're the sovereign citizens.
And
They
then
think they're above the law.
they threw their trolls in there to become that, and then they start spitting out some bullshit that we all know isn't true. And then you know, I've even tried to tell friends of mine that that's not true about that, and then they would argue with me, and I'm just like, I don't have time for this. You know, it's just, there's so much disinformation because they put it out there about the matter. Just to focus, please focus on the goal. And if you get trapped in a rabbit hole, put time limits on your rabbit holes. This is my suggestion, 15 minutes each. Otherwise you'll get lost forever.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah, easy. Where'd Jen go? Is she there?
I don't know. I hope she's not mad at me.
I bet she's on mute and doesn't know it.
Or fell asleep.
Jen, you know you're on mute. Jen, hello. Come on, Jen. Where are you? Did you forget to drink your coffee?
And everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, please.
Absolutely.
Please, please.
Jen, where are you? I hope you're all right. I did not mean to cut you off.
I always share Stephen Phillips, even with my Wolfpack group. We're amending the Constitution. We're changing it
We
from
appreciate
the
that.
top.
Yeah, definitely.
The Constitution?
Yes, we're going for Congress because there's some corruption up there, and we know shit rolls downhill, and we're tired of it rolling down onto us.
Well, that's exactly what it looks like too. For if you look at all the cases and all the indicators, it sure seems like it's coming from the very top because there's corruption seems to be stemming from all the way up the ladder, all the way down the ladder. Is what it's looking like to me. How bad this is.
Yeah, it is.
Change all the mans to humans, not man, woman, and etc. Just make it human.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. You know, because I like to look at it like this. We're all part of the human family, and we all need to start thinking like that because we are all part of the human family. There's no division between us. We need to start thinking. We need to start looking out for each other, backing each other up, and being there for each other as community. And when we need to start localizing our communities and localizing our government too, I think, because look at how far, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. But I think going forward, after all the dust settles, I think that's going to be our best approach. That's my opinion.
I agree. And they're ready because COVID just slammed everybody to the floor with a lot of stuff they've never seen before. And I think the people are ready to just get our country back in a way that we can give it to our children.
I think that we're ready to get our planet back. I go so far to say that we're ready to get our planet back. I think we're all globally just fed the fuck up with all this corruption on all, because it's global. If you look at it, we got it going on in the medical community. We got going on in the CPS and court systems. We got it going on in schools. We got it going on in the Department of Health and Human Services. It's really bad. Like, I'm, to be honest, like my buddy out here where I live, locally in Vegas, is fighting the school board, and he's former Blackwater. Okay, so he's been fighting this. He's not. They mess with the wrong person, and they also mess with the wrong person with me, because what they did to my mom. I'm never gonna stop fighting. I'm gonna fight until the day I die, or until these bastards are finally held accountable. I'm never gonna stop.
Statistics, see, and that's where the bigger picture comes into play, because they've ran out of inventory, if you know what I mean, and that's also the reason that they opened the borders up for more inventory. Okay,
of course they did. Of course, it makes perfect sense, actually, if you think about if you've been following the events of what's going on behind the scenes and following the indicators the last several years.
And foreigners are what they always assisted at the beginning of the social worker movement /
people need to realize. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, it's just that's what they started with, was foreigners. So that's why they opened the border, to get more foreigners, because they can make them do anything they want. Services.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people don't realize this, but that the whole border issue is not about immigration. It's about human trafficking. That's what's really going on there. That's what that whole issue is really about, you guys. Okay, because there's not an issue with people coming into this country legally and becoming citizens. I mean, hell, I did my neighbor's immigration translation paperwork for them, for his son and his wife to become citizens, and now they're here, and like we're really, really close, tight knit community where we're all of our neighbors, we look out for each other, and that's I see that as like the start or the beginning of the formation of how we're going to be moving forward, as a global society,
Yeah, hopefully that wraps it up for some people to understand why they opened the borders the way they did it. HHS did the CDC COVID shutdown. Okay, remember, the source of everything is HHS Becerra. Okay, he has been an issue for a minute. He's a communist. I theorize he's Venezuelan. Okay, and a lot of them were implanted into Sacramento about 2010-ish.
Oh yeah, okay.
There, LA.
So that gives us a timeline of how far, at least an indicator for how far back this stems.
That's what you should look for, is 2010, 11-ish. And yeah, they were all implanted. They'll have fake stories, histories. How I cut Becerra was because his family story doesn't make sense. Now, me growing up in the Bay Area and then living in Salinas, which is a farming community, and then moving to Sacramento, knowing any and all of farming communities that could exist there, and then hearing his family story about coming here, it's not true. Families don't come here together. He's trying to say his husband, his mom and his dad came here together and raised his family, and his dad worked in the fields and blah, blah, blah. Number one, there's hardly any fields in Sacramento, just strawberries, and they're Asian owned. And yeah, so if he came to this country to work in the fields, it would be more like Turlock and Salinas and, you know, all the places that they actually have fields and water. And, you know what I mean? So that part, and then
Right.
mostly the wives are left at home for the most part. The husbands come here seasonally, if seasonally or all year round, and they send money home to the wives that take care of the children for the most part. There's not usually wives here, and definitely not single parent households, not even then. So yeah, his story doesn't make any sense at all.
Well
So-
said. Well said.
Yeah,
So,
so anyways,
go ahead.
sorry, I didn't mean to veer out of topic, you guys, but
No,
is
you're
all-
fine. No,
it's
it's
all-
all relevant. It's all relevant because it all ties in. Because like if you think about it, like because of the level of how far this corruption seems to stem, and what we're seeing on all levels, and you know, across all walks of life, you know, medical, you know, CPS, family court corruption, you know, school boards, et cetera, et cetera. I think we need to start looking at it like that because it is all tied in. Because follow the money. Follow the
Right.
money. I mean, they're not hiding it in at all, people. It's very, very obvious. For those, see, there's a lot of us out here, like you, Desiree, me, a lot of us people that really dig and do our research and start looking at stuff really objectively. That's what the internet is for. That's what we can use it to empower ourselves, or we can choose it to use it to disempower ourselves. But that's a choice. It's a tool, but that is a personal choice. And what I've seen is it's either people go the way we went. And let's face it, our generation is a generation that we were there before the internet even came out. We were the last ones to be around before the internet came out. We were the last ones to start riding our go-karts around outside, et cetera, playing outside, doing stuff outside, going to the community pool, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, I think we're in a unique position to really like bridge the gap for future generations, and we have an obligation to correct the ship, so to speak, correct course the ship.
Absolutely.
And it's up to us to do that for the future generations that don't have that experience like we have, so to speak.
Right. And just to make it simple, you guys, if you don't know who Becerra is, Xavier or Javier, whatever you want to say, he is the state, he's the highest position of HHS, the Health and Human Services, which is in charge of the Children's Bureau, which is in charge of CWS, Child Welfare System. Okay.
Ooh.
So he is the guy on top. He's on top of Felchi. Okay. He also is in charge of that. That's Becerra. And
I wonder where Jen is. Where is she? Come on, Jen. Where'd you go? You're doing great. Well, go ahead, Desiree.
Oh, I just wanted to let people know who he was, so they don't have to go look it up. That's who I'm referring to when I say his story was wrong. So it does go up to the top, but not all the way up to the top. The majority stems at the capacity building in DC, as I've said before.
Well said. Why don't we get our other interview going, and then we'll do a little roundtable discussion after that, and then go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay. Here we go. Let me share my screen.
About 3 years ago, my little brother started living with my number 3 brother. Number 5 brother moved in with him. He started manufacturing methamphetamine, and he got busted. So my number 3 brother's paralyzed, and he begged us to come help him. So he was going to get his affairs in order, and I'd been real busy, had a new baby. So I said, let's go visit the family, get Tommy's affairs in order, and come back home. We weren't there 3 weeks, and my sister-in-law called CPS on us and made false allegations, and they threw those allegations out of court, and the guardian ad litem and the prosecutor started investigating my past. Now, my fiance never been arrested. Nothing's on her record, and she never failed a drug test. And we finished their case plan before 6 months, and they never gave the baby back.
Wow.
Yeah, and they knew that we were not residents of Mississippi because we reside in Atmore, Alabama. We 5 minutes from an Indian reservation, and Emily's probably 3/4 Porch Creek Indian. So, and they won't acknowledge any of that. They won't even do a genealogy test because the Indians here told us they have the baby, they have to test her. Meanwhile, the last visit we had, my sister was got to go with us. She's got the same birthday as my daughter, and Emily, the first words came out of Emily's mouth, "Are you here to bring me home to Alabama with my mom?" And Mom said, "No, baby, we can't do it yet. The bad people still have you." Now, this child scratched us up. We took pictures of it, the scratches. She threw a fit. She would, and I told the social worker, "You're committing child abuse right now." And she immediately tried to get out of there. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, they told us don't post anything on social media, so we didn't. And yesterday, court was all about social media. And it lasted a mere 8 minutes. And court adjourned. Bam, gone. They were gone. But Emily's been in the hospital 4 times the first year. And now on Father's Day, they call us and tell us that she's got a broken leg. So I just want my child back.
Right.
You know? And for these people to be held accountable.
They do.
Because
They absolutely do.
Yeah. They've been lying under oath. They've been using falsified paperwork from New Orleans and creating false documents in Mississippi. And when you throw the allegations out, you can't prove them. You're supposed to give the child back.
Right.
And this is the big whoop. They falsified a drug test on me for using methamphetamine. I've never used meth. It stays in your system 90 days. I did a lot of research on it. They did 3 hair tests 3 weeks in a row. The 4th test was clean. So it was definitely prescription meds. So they kept lagging them wrong, continuous. Meanwhile, the baby was quarantined about 5 times. It really messed up our visits. We didn't get to see the baby. And one time we went to court and the judge suspended our visits for breaking down and getting a flat tire for 6 months.
Wow.
So I got another lawyer, and he straightened all that out. And the judge says, all you need to do is keep visitation with Emily. You don't have to take drug tests or anything because you done did all that. Now, how many drug tests do you need to realize that the people, the biological parents, are not drug addicts? So,
Right. It's a common tactic that they use with a lot of these cases we're seeing. They're doing the same thing to Angie. They're trying to paint her as a meth user when she's not. And even though she passed their little drug test, and then they're trying to say, oh, you have a problem, yada, yada, yada. But they're using that to make it look like she's a bad person in the public's eye. That's how they're playing it, in the courtroom. Yeah. It's just ridiculous. It's freaking ridiculous.
Now we got a few advocates and we're all real close. And one of the guys said the drug test have been signed off to be falsified. So CPS is probably paying the drug testing places off.
Right.
Meanwhile, LabCorp, Omega, and a couple of other company drug testing places are being shut down. And then when they give you a paper proving that you did the test, there's an MRO on it. So you call that, and they ask for your specimen ID. And Omega has no record of Dawn or I ever taking an air test
Interesting.
with them. And we pulled up the address, and it is an empty building in Indiana.
Wow.
Now, they've been operating under a guy's name named David Naheem. David Naheem's dead now, and he died out of the country. But they were still trying to use his medical license to falsify drug tests.
Wow.
And this is all over YouTube and, you know, in these corruption groups against CPS.
Mhm.
CPS is paying everybody off. Doctors,
Oh, yeah.
lawyers,
Oh, yeah.
judges.
We're seeing that too.
Yeah. When you go get a psychological evaluation, he's paid off. But see, when I was a kid, I got in trouble. I went to prison. 10 years parole, never went back. When he found out I went to prison, he got scared. He stood up and backed up against the wall. And then he started asking me to spell these words that he couldn't spell. And I got them all right. I said, now, I grabbed the paper and I said, now, you spell it. I said, you're an educated man. You've been to college. You give psychological evaluations. Spell them words. He said, I can't. I've never used those words. I said, okay. Now, I've had 3 businesses. I've been successful all my life, other than the brushes with the law that I've had. And I paid my dues, and I paid a lot of money in lawyers. But the point is, no one lives in their past. And when you use your past against you, with Perry County, you know, the guardian ad litem, how do you win? You know what I mean? The statute of limitations of any crime is 7 years. Now they go back 5, and they went back even further with me. They went back to when I was 21, 1981. Now you see what I'm saying? And they're using that to adopt my child out. They're using argumentative circumstances, which is not a law.
No, it's not.
It is created from the color of law.
Yep.
Common law is the real law.
Common law.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're still fighting to get her back. They don't want us to see her at McDonald's or Hardee's because we're going to record everything. We're going to ask her what happened to her knee and who did it. Now, this isn't the first time she said something like this. She had a bad busted lip. We went to a visit, and I said, my baby, what happened to your lip? She said, Chad hit me. Chad did it. Now, this is the foster dad. Now, I'm going to believe my daughter over anybody. You know what I mean? So they can,
your video went off. I don't know if you.
Somebody's got to be responsible. Somebody's got to be responsible for what Emily and we have gone through under false allegations, a false positive drug test created by them. Oh, wait, the prosecutor signed off on the judgment to take the baby. And that was filed a month after they took her.
Wow. They're not supposed to be able to do that. That's backwards.
We had Zoom court, and he displayed abuse of power. How are you going to bring somebody up on charges of a misdemeanor and have them extradited from New York? And you're in Mississippi. The judge does not read anything. He listens to the guardian ad litem and the prosecutor and a little bit of CPS, social workers.
Yep.
But now, this is what happened yesterday. It is not for TPR review or, a family team meeting review. It is for reunification because we don't live in Mississippi, so you can't serve me to go to a TPR hearing. Number 1. Number 3. Number 2 and number 3. Everything they're doing is illegal.
Yep.
They're in a corporation for profit. They don't care about your kids. They don't care what they do to you. So I want my child back, and if they don't give us our child back, we coming at them with everything we got.
Right.
We got falsified documents from Louisiana. That paperwork has all the wrong names on it. The girls aren't spelled right. Robbie's in the place of a child. Another one of our other daughters that the biological father of her tried to rape her. And the CPS gives the child back to the abuser.
Wow.
Now we had a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, and we went and picked him up. His daddy let him come to his mom. We got him a puppy. He got a rash. He got dirt in his drawers. I said, "Hey, Rob, go take a shower. We're about to eat." And he goes, "I need some diaper rash medicine like the girls use." Well, when his mom went to put it on him, this is what he told us. "You could put some medicine on me, but don't put your finger up my butt like Dustin."
Oh, wow.
And that was it. We called CPS. We called the FBI. We called the police. We called everybody. We called the district. You know what? They came and took the kids from us, told us that we couldn't keep them safe from her ex-husband, and they adopted them out.
Wow.
But they gave Robbie back to the abuser, his biological father. We have proof of this from Audrey Hepburn Hospital in New Orleans. That's where they examined Robbie. And then one time, his biological father went to see him. He thought it was me. He ran out. "Dad, Dad." He seen it was Dustin, and they chased this child a block and a half.
Oh,
He
wow.
raped me. He's not my dad. My dad's with my mom. He raped me. And we got it in a court document. So,
No,
you know what I mean?
that's just sick that they're even doing this.
Yeah. Now, when they took the girls, they didn't even drug test us. Now, all they did was listen to the allegations. This is what they did to us. They came in. We had all the kids, so the kitchen was a mess, and we cooked and popped popcorn and played PlayStation all night. And CPS showed up on a Sunday morning. They didn't drug test. They took our kids. They got a judge to sign a judgment, and they took our kids. And Harley, we did 16 months of that. We got everything complete, and in the end, at a parenting class, they said that I could not be taught anything. Well, I've been around the block, you know what I mean? So there's very little you're going to know that I don't know, other than what you went to school for. You know, I did raise a few kids. They're successful. They're married. I got little grandkids, and man. But that seems to be the problem. The judge is not. He's tearing up his oath of office. The prosecutor, the guardian ad litem. That's your villains in court.
They are.
Now,
they are because they're all colluding.
All of them. It's terrorizing, defamation of character, abuse of their power. They're not telling the truth.
Racketeering,
at all.
Fraud.
Man,
you name
it's horrible.
Trafficking.
Yesterday,
child trafficking.
The judge.
All
this
that.
is the first time we made the judge mad, and he didn't really want to talk to me. He don't want me in his courtroom, I don't think, because he started doing Zoom meetings. Because I was really mad in there. I've been accused of something that I didn't do or ever did, and you're going to tell me that I did, and you're going to order CPS to investigate the medications, and they said they didn't have those resources. Well, I did it on an iPhone, and I sent her everything. Meanwhile, you can't get nobody to put it in writing. Nobody will go against the state.
Right, that's what we're seeing. It's really bad. It's like the corruption has gotten pretty deep, a lot deeper than I think a lot of us thought it was.
Exactly. Now the Clintons sat down and put this in a motion in '79 or something like that, and it's a federal funded Title V, and it violates your constitutional rights. And it's just sad. It's just, how could they be doing this to their own people?
Right. That's what they're doing, though. I mean, it's no different. It's no different than well, it's slightly different, but it's no different than what happened freaking in World War II with Nazi Germany, and then like what we saw there, and it's just another face of it right now. Like except now they're going after all those 99%.
Exactly. Now this is what the Crown loaned U.S. money during World War II or one. Lyndon Johnson did it. So they adopt our kids out, and England gets the $2 million that's your bond when you're born. You get $2 million, and if you be a sovereign American nationalist sovereign, they'll put you in jail now.
Yeah.
And nobody ever got their kids doing that, because they got this cat named David Strait, and I started listening to him, and I said, I read up on some sovereignty, and everybody I know that fought the government and became a sovereign citizen, an American nationalist, they're in jail. They were in jail or dead. So that didn't work. You know what I mean?
Well, the definition of a sovereign citizen is someone who thinks that they're above the law, and that doesn't think that the law applies to them. That's actually what these courts are doing. That's what they're doing. They're the sovereign citizens because they think they're above the law, but they're not. And they're trying to flip it around on you guys because it's not like, and they tried to smear Angie as that too. That's not at all.
Exactly.
We're demanding accountability under the law for the crimes they've committed.
Exactly. Now they should teach this in school.
They should.
But they direct you away from that by all means. By all means. This should be taught in school. Family law and youth court should be taught in school.
Yep.
Because if you don't know the law, they could use it against you.
Yep.
And this is what they told us. Oh, you don't need a lawyer. Your baby will be back in 3 weeks. Well, yeah, that's before you falsified a drug test and took my child.
3 weeks past? How long ago was that?
They took the baby January 17th, 2019.
Okay, so it's been a few years.
Yeah. They
so much for 3 weeks, huh?
Parental bond.
So much for that 3 weeks he told you about.
Yeah, and I told her. I didn't say that. I said you did. You also specified that we didn't need a lawyer because there was an organization called Encircle that works with the family, contracted through you, and they want to know why the baby is not reunified with the biological parents. So we got the head of Encircle. We got one of their workers named Tori and one named Catherine. Now, Catherine's from Louisiana, and we kind of bonded with her. Well, she went to bat for us, and they fired her.
They fired her?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
They did. Catherine lives back in Louisiana now. She's going back to school. She's fighting a just cause also.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
It sucks that good people like that are being like purged from the system. It's obviously intentful.
Exactly.
It's clear that they're trying to purge all the ranks of freaking people that'll stand up and fight.
Now, see, this is the thing. This is what Hitler would have did. So this is what I told the social worker. I said, the Gestapo and Hitler would be proud of you. I said, don't ask me what I want to do to you. I think it would offend you, So I left that at that. But I call them kidnappers. I call them baby thieves. And if you don't like it, it ain't against the law. It ain't against the law. Now somebody lives in New York. We send them a picture, and they post it on a CPS group, Families Against CPS, something like that. Hey, dude, the guardian ad litem found it, and she brought it up, and they were trying to get me to admit that I posted it. I said, they asked me, guardian ad litem asked me, Mr. Tisdale, were you aware that Jessica Dunn posted that? I said, I was not. I was not at all. Did you post it? I said, I did not. I did not know what she was going to do to it. I don't follow her social media. I got enough to do in my life. And she said, okay, fine. And when her husband intervened, he told the judge, nah, that's enough. Shut up, Jennifer. That's it. You're not saying nothing else. He said, the judge said, well, who are you? You don't worry about who I am. I'm the guy with the money. And if you F with me, I'll make you look stupid. And right away, the judge got really pissed off. And he said, court adjourned. Bam. And my screen went dark.
Oh,
That
wow.
was it. It did not pertain to Emily at all. Now, they got 3 years of drug tests on us. And the ones that are dirty, they did. 3 tests. Now, they made it out like I did meth. And then the levels were real high. So I stopped doing all my meds, everything. And in 3 weeks, I was clean. That's not meth. Meth stays in the system 90 days. And,
Right.
And I sent a message to the social worker in Perry County. You know, it's a shame that a victim from your actions has to educate you to what you need to know.
Right.
And I left it at that. And I did not get a response. And the next time I talked to her, she hung up on me. I said, because you're a parent now. You were out on maternity leave and the judge suspended our visits 6 months because your replacement blocked our number and would not accept calls from us. So, you know, I don't know. I know these people need to be stopped by all means necessary.
Definitely.
And it's just a matter of time before somebody really messes up. It's just a matter of time. Because in New Orleans, they stick pit bulls on CPS workers, DHR, DHS, and it ain't nothing nice. They think they can walk right in your house, knock on the door. Hey, is anybody? A pit bull's done jumped on them, got him by the throat. They almost dead by the front door. And that's what happened. I seen it.
Oh, wow.
Meanwhile, yeah, you're not supposed to walk in nobody's home.
Right.
Who do you think you are? And everybody out there, if a CPS officer comes to your door, you tell them you are trespassing, you're on private property, get off your property. Nothing's wrong here. And you demand they leave your property.
Right. They don't have a right to come in your property without any warrant or anything.
Exactly. Don't talk to them. Don't let them see in your house. And do not let them speak to your kids. It's against the law. You can sue them if they speak to your child without your permission. And they cannot force their way in. So,
yeah, and like the part about like don't let them look in your house either, because that will give them probable cause to be able to come in. You don't need to give them that. You don't want to give them that. That's the last thing you want to do.
That's right. If you got kids and you got a clothes basket full of clothes, you might have a little bit of dishes in the sink. You might have some toys out. They look at that as clutter and mess, and everything's cluttered and not clean. They always got to remember, they go to school to discredit you by all means.
Right.
And I need to get this word out there. Y'all need to be aware of these people. Tell them to get off your property. You have no judgment. It's a civil judgment or a warrant, and they're not legal. They do not have authority to interfere in your life at all. They're violating your constitutional rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's constitutional rights.
Exactly.
That's all I know. And they took 3 girls of mine. I wasn't supposed to have kids. And when I met this girl, she started having girls for me. And I was 49 when my first one was born. I was 42 when the 42 and a half when the second one was born. And then, let's see, 2019, Emily was born. Yeah. Never knew I did not even expect it. My life was so busy. And Dawn said, something's wrong. I said, what's the matter? She said, I think I'm pregnant. I said, oh no, here we go again. Here we go again. At least we in Alabama.
Right.
We went to Mississippi. One of the most retarded courtrooms I've ever been in my life. If not doing his job, he is violating his oath of office. He is not doing proper procedure, and he'll mute you on a Zoom call when you stand up for yourself. Because they gave us a court-appointed lawyer, and he sent me a message yesterday morning. If you don't want my services, you need to seek new counsel. And I said, if you can't represent me properly, it's done. So do your job, or I'm coming after you too.
Right.
That's right.
So
So
let's do a little back discussion on that then.
Oh, there's 3 points I want to make, you guys. We all know what the law is, but it's irrelevant at this time. So yes, of course they can't enter your house without a warrant. You know what the sheriff told me when she freaking barged into my empty house? I don't need a warrant. Okay, your only protection at this time will be a video camera. They don't like them. Okay.
Oh, they hate the cameras.
They don't care about our law. They have no respect for it.
Oh, they hate the cameras. They hate recordings. They don't want you recording nothing if they can avoid it. They hate me when I go to court because I record everything. So
yes.
When I come through there, they search me down, and I still manage.
Right, and
They threatened.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good. I was just gonna say they threatened to extradite me over that because I put those posts up for her, those pictures up for her of her children because they were trying to shut her up.
You're right, because I haven't eaten my fries yet. You know,
I think it's a big deal that everybody keeps preaching the law. We know, and there's books and Supreme Court rulings against what's happening to us, and it's irrelevant at this time. People, everybody wake up to the point that it does not matter. You can scream it from the highest mountains. You may not answer my home because I did, and they still do.
Well,
Okay?
that's another thing is, what do you do when the police call social services to you? Because then they have the right to enter whether you want to let them or not. Because the police are no,
God no.
Oh,
God.
I thought that would give them probable cause.
Fuck no. A cop
Probable cause to what? What crime were you committing?
I don't know, whatever the cop called them for.
No, not unless there's a crime involved.
Yeah, unless there's a crime and they suspect you of they can articulate a crime that you are doing that they witnessed.
Right.
Like there's no reason. They have nothing.
See, that's what most people don't know. You don't have to answer as long as they can't see in your place, and they don't have any reason to see. The minute they can see in your place, or they have reason to believe that.
Oh my God, my phone's dying.
What the problem
They can suspect all they want and call CPS to suspect all they want and investigate all they want, but no, they can't enter your home without a freaking warrant.
That's the bottom line. Yep. Now that they'll try to use that probable cause tactic a lot, but legally speaking, they can't.
Not when it comes to the real law, but we all know what we're dealing with because
we're dealing with criminal court systems.
We're not dealing.
They're not following the law.
Right. Big deal. Hey, so on the drug testing, you guys, big thing I'm going to bring up next month. Okay, and this is for everybody, right here, where they admit that it doesn't matter. Drugs don't even affect, they don't even know if it affects if somebody abuses their kid. Okay, this is where they admit it. And this is what they teach our whole country.
Wow, they're admitting it.
This is page 23. If everybody wants to reference, fact check me all you want. Screening and Assessment for Family Engagement, Retention and Recovery by SAFERR, SAFER. Okay, Child Welfare Services Capacity, the HHS, Department of Health and Human Services is at the bottom. And then we have our National Center of Substance Abuse and Child Welfare organization also attached. Okay, so this is what they train people. Although there is a general consensus among child welfare staff and substance use can contribute to child maltreatment, many do not understand substance use treatment and recovery and how use recovery are related to child safety and well-being. These relationships are often complex. Although a substance use disorder can have a causative relationship to child maltreatment, it also is possible that the underlying causes of child maltreatment are not related to substance use disorders. Did you just hear that? They just admit it.
So they can't say either way.
That it might have nothing to do with hurting a kid.
Yeah, they can't say that it does or it doesn't.
They, yes.
That's
Yes.
ridiculous that they use that. Because I mean, they've used that shit against me.
I've actually got case law on where it says that drugs are not enough to take a child away from home. And I've also got case law on where, like, say a mother or a family has a home that, you know, just plain out just filthy. That's not even enough to take a child from the home.
Complete opposite of this. Complete opposite of what they're teaching everybody. Okay?
Yeah, I know.
That is a big deal. They even teach the judges this place. Okay. So, yeah. And let me just finish the paragraph just so you guys don't think I'm taking it out of context. It also, okay, wait. In the latter situations, treating parental substance use disorders may not resolve child maltreatment problems. I said that. In other situations, especially when maltreatment involves child neglect rather than abuse, successfully treating parental substance use disorders is more likely to resolve the parental neglectful behavior. So they don't even really know. Just wrap it all up. That's what they're wasting everybody's tax money on. That's what they're lying to everybody about. This is what they're teaching social workers and judges. Okay, they don't even know.
That just sets us all up for failure. I mean, it just sets everybody up for failure.
Hey guys, are we still recording?
Yes, we are.
We're on a live right now.
Okay.
Candace.
Yeah, so that wraps it up about how important the drug tests are, you guys. It says nothing about our children at all. And it tells you that this is not about the children.
Look at their actions. Obviously, it's not about the children. It's about making their profiting at the expense of the children.
They don't care about children at all.
No, their property. They're just a pawn in all this. Their money. They're a way to take the country and stuff because they're the the heritage of everything. This is our future.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a couple old sayings about that who rocks the cradle or owns the house or something like that. Isn't there an old saying like that?
The baby in the cradle, that little nursery rhyme, is that the one you're speaking of?
So the one who controls the cradle controls the house or something of the sort. I'm not good with remembering those quotes, but it's something of the sort. Yes. But anyways, it's true. They know our weakness and it's our children. They use our kindness against us as Americans, our civility. And our,
especially men.
Exactly. That's exactly what they do. But here's where they're gonna fail. I think their Achilles heel is gonna be, well, right, one, they're being sloppy right now. We're seeing that they're not hiding any of this shit anymore. It's pretty obvious. Two, people are awake. And at least on the average, as far as not maybe this issue in particular, but like a lot of the other stuff, like just look at the numbers for who watches MSM anymore. It's like what, 11%. It's pretty evident to me that people are awake. People aren't buying what the legacy media is saying anymore, and they're coming to alternative sources. So that's kind of like what we're seeing is a grassroots movement all around the world of people like me and others that are doing this kind of work. I think this is a beautiful thing. I'm grateful to be part of it.
And thank you, Tech. Thank you, Big Tech. Even though we don't love you, we love you. because education is going to be the key. Was that controversial? I always will be.
Yeah.
You know, they never really thought that we would be able to connect like this.
Right.
You know, when they were, you know, making the internet, because they use that for all their stuff, but they didn't take into account like how much it would help the opposing force, you know?
Right. And they
Well,
didn't
it's
take
just
it
like
goodwill that
it's
we
just
are.
like what they teach in the Art of War, the book, The Art of War. Same thing. That's basically all we're doing. We're just using their own tactics against them. Plain and simple.
And America's
Yes. Yep.
never seen, so they can't use old models on us.
No, they can't because we know their game now.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, totally.
That's why I wanted to start a thing where we had buildings that we would buy, apartment buildings, for cheap and then fix up, you know, because you can get them cheap if they need to be fixed up.
I think that's a great
And
idea.
then-
You know, Angie wanted to do
then-
community gardens. I think that's another thing we should need to pursue too.
And then move like a grandmother into one unit that wants her grandkids back, and then move like a mother that's that's baby's about to be adopted out, and the grandmother can adopt the baby for the mother, and they can be under the same roof. They can even move in, you know, the baby can even move in with the mother because they're technically still in the same building as the
Hey,
guardian.
y'all. I'm fixing to share some case law with y'all when it comes about the drugs and things like that.
Okay.
I'm full of documentation, so. All right,
And-
this is
Oh,
CPS.
sorry.
Y'all see that? It says the mere presence of drugs or prior use does not pose the same threat to a child as the Second Circuit has warned. If mere possibility of danger constituted an emergency, officers would always be justified in making a forced entry and seizure of child whenever the child was in the presence of a person who had a history that heightens the possibility of danger to the child. That's the United States versus the Venters. In Walker, the court noted an existing ability or capability of parents to adequately and properly care for their children is inconsistent with the status of dependency. See also read the welfare of Watson. Government action designed to prevent an individual from utilizing legal remedies may infringe upon the First Amendment right to the position of the courts. Let's see. Here's another one. Although drugs are illegal, a parent's criminal activity does not authorize the government to separate a family through child neglect statutes. Let's see. Such knee-jerk intervention signals a return to the discredited practice of focusing on the repugnance of parental conduct, whether prior parental conduct is blameworthy or repulsive, should not be of concern to the child welfare system. Finding no existing circumstances among evidence of cluttered home, the development delays of the children, and the lack of educational and medical care for the children because there was no showing of imminent or likely harm to the children. Walsh versus Erie. Although the federal courts have developed different standards to identify exigent circumstances justifying seizure of a child from his home in the absence of a court order, parental drug use fails to constitute exigent circumstance under any of these standards because exigent circumstances requires the immediate threat of harm to the child rather than a mere possibility of harm occurring to the child. That's Gates versus Texas Department Protective and Regulatory Services. Mere drug possession amounts to neither probable cause nor exigent circumstances. Therefore, neglect statutes that explicitly designate drug abuse as child neglect lead to unlawful seizures within the meaning of the Fourth Amendment and should be struck down as unconstitutional. Brocco versus Mercer. Cases in which parents misuse drugs or alcohol but do not neglect their child fail to justify such drastic state intervention. The lack of causation between parental drug use and harm to a child, the child's interest in staying with his natural family, and the bleak outlook for a child in the foster care system demonstrates that the government's interest does not outweigh the individual privacy interest of a child in cases involving drug use. The desire to avoid a domestic dispute cannot form a reasonable basis for depriving a child of his 4th and 14th Amendment rights. Woolley versus the City of Baton Rouge.
And Candace, see, that's exactly what I said. We have case law, we have freaking written law, we have SCOTUS freaking law telling them that it is legal, but they're not respecting the law, and it is huge. That's how what everybody needs to wrap their heads around. It's that bad.
Oh, I know it's that bad. I just recently found something out within my case. Like, y'all will be blown once we talk about it. And I figured out what it is, and there's a rabbit hole that I need everybody to help me with. But it says under these standards, however, criminal drug fails to constitute.
Good. Sorry, I'm gonna have to turn my screen off. I'm almost out of here.
It says constitute an extended circumstance, for it does not put a child in imminent jeopardy, nor does it pose the threat that a child is likely to experience serious bodily harm. That's good. It says the U.S. Supreme Court has repeatedly held that parents have a fundamental right to make decisions as to the companionship, care, custody, management of their children, which right is a protected liberty interest under the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. Troxel versus Granville. The First Amendment also provides a possible cause of action. Courts have recognized that the First Amendment protects the fundamental right to intimidate association, which includes the familial association between parents and children. Doe versus Fayette County, children.
Yeah, Truxell's a big one.
Yeah. Neglect statutes that identify drug use or possession as forms of neglect justifying removal of a child from a home fail to constitute an extended circumstance. Drug use or possession does not cause direct harm to a child and is not a guarantee of direct harm to a child, merely possesses a possibility of harm to a child. Thus, possibility of harm is not an extended. That's Tenenbaum. Children have standing to sue their,
So that just said exactly what I just read in the book that they admitted. What you just, what you just read just reiterated what I read in that book about them, not really know if it does anything.
Right. Well, that's why I decided to share this with y'all, so y'all can see. I mean, this is case law. It backs it up. Just because a parent's on drugs does not mean that they are not capable of taking care of their children. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I know people from, up and down. It doesn't matter. Like, I know people who do it. I know people who don't do it. I know a lot of people who keep their whole entire home maintained and taken care of. Their kids are taken care of. And guess what? They're sitting there getting high off of that meth. Or, they might be sitting there getting high off that heroin. Just because they're doing it. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't condone it if there's their child is up and about or whatever. Because, a lot of times they're going to be all passed out or whatever.
Right.
It doesn't mean that they can't take care of their child.
Right. And it's all everybody's body chemistry is different, but I mean, like these are facts, people. These are hard facts. People do this all the time, and not everybody can do it. Some people can, some people can't. But not that we condone it at all. But these are our facts, and I think the ironic thing is that a lot of what we're seeing is they're actually putting these kids into the homes of the actual abusers, the ones that they're worse off with. But what they're doing is it's sick. It's sick.
You're right.
You see how they're twisting the narrative to that, but what they're like a lot of the times these people that they're sending them to are the ones that are using and not that able to do the job. You know what I mean? Which is even worse.
That is exactly right.
Now, children have a standing to sue for their removal after they reach the age of a majority. children have a constitutional right to live with their parents without government interference. So that right there, what it says to you right there, they have a constitutional right to live with their parents without government interference. Okay, guess what? CPS, DHR,
Wow.
CFS,
That's actual case
they are
law.
all, yeah, they are all a corporation. They're not even a government, which means they are your everyday Jack in the Box. That right there just cut jurisdiction.
Right. I believe that the written law, the understood law, and the practice law need to equal each other, simply said.
Well, it's like this. Common law is the supreme law of the land. It cannot be abrogated. Period.
You understand what I mean?
So all of these statutes, regulations, bylaws, they're not the law. Yes, they're to help, but 9 times out of 10, that's for the people who are part of these corporations / government. Okay. Our government sits right there. What is it? Washington, D.C., Columbia, Washington. That's where the government is. Everybody else, we're not a part of it.
Is this trash bag trash?
So that's what I mean. The understood law, the people, what the people
I got
understand.
some trash over there. I need to pick up.
Oh, it's the difference between common law and admiralty law, basically, is what we're getting at,
Yeah.
I think.
It is. It is 100%. And see, admiralty law, that is law of the sea. We're not on the sea. We're on land. And
Exactly.
truth be known, your birth certificate, they're not saying that you're alive. They actually say that you're dead. I don't know if y'all know that, but yeah.
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah. I'm not surprised at all.
Well, I haven't seen that written, but I do understand as an American what the laws I thought were and I see written are. You know, the ones I do see and I understand are simple as you cannot enter my home without a warrant. That is something that is written, that is understood, but it's not.
Yeah, I made a.
So how do we make them practice it?
I know that
Were
you.
you over there talking that shit?
No,
Well, like the the oath that they make the military take, I swear to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That's an oath that I signed.
I know.
And
My
that's
father
like,
was a vet.
even after being out as a veteran, we still have to uphold that oath. First and foremost.
That's right.
Absolutely. It's our job as citizens. It's our civil duty to the rest of humanity to do so. Not only for our freedoms, but for all the rest of humanity's freedoms as well.
22, I was like, oh, hell no.
But texting Brandon's girl ain't gonna make the walk. You know. I mean,
Yeah.
I know you do it.
Whose background noise is that? I can hear somebody talking in the background.
Not I.
Not me.
So I'm not gonna sell it. I'm just gonna get it. Get it to DeWalt, and I don't.
I'm gonna
That's the smartest way.
Yeah, go ahead. Just unmute yourself whenever you're going to speak. That's fine.
What? I was like, yeah, I want you to fucking make money.
Yeah, you told me you should make 80.
He goes, 80. I was like, no, I'm gonna sell it to you for 60.
Who's get that background noise? We're getting background noise from somebody. I don't know who it is though. Is it?
I'm not sure. Let me see if I can see.
I'm just gonna.
He's gonna make.
Oh, it was Desiree. Oh no, it wasn't. It wasn't.
What you gonna make?
Oh, hold on. How about that? Better. Oh, sorry. It must have been you, Jessica. No worries. Just unmute yourself when you're ready to speak. No, it happens. It happens all the time. I mean, it's hard to get used to doing that. We've had to implement that rule just so we don't talk over each other half the time.
I agree. I felt like I was eavesdropping.
I was like, "Whoa, that's a private conversation. Let's back out of that." Okay, well, that's a private conversation. I don't know. It was I don't know, somebody in the background. I think on Jessica's end. No worries. Are you there, Jessica? She must be busy talking. Oh, well. Anyways, go ahead, Desiree. Continue where you were at.
But I didn't know who I was eavesdropping on, so I
was just trying to find out who the background was, so we could. Yeah, no. Go ahead, you guys. Hey, nothing ever goes right in a production. You expect the unexpected, but that's just part of the process. But I love it. I love doing this kind of work.
Exactly. So oath. You guys said the oath is how you make them practice what they're supposed to do. So Is the oath what we need to go after? Is it that bond? Is that our solution in the meantime until we can fix this from above? I mean, I'm gonna hit the capacity building. Hopefully I'll get the
We got to pursue all strategies, I think, on all fronts at this point until we got something that will work. And we're getting a few strategies like from my buddy that he pulled, he's able to pull off. And those are like his is an effective, like almost immediate strategy that you can use, that people can use to like kind of put the pressure on these bastards by going higher up the chain, and that's
And,
like
you know,
that's
it is
one
about-
tactic in what you're doing. And we're finding ways to beat this. We're just like having to figure it out, like we can go through the process of actually doing all the stuff we need to do. And but I see this coming together very, very beautifully, I think.
It is it poetically coming together, and you're right. And there are steps people can take. Hey, if you don't know who it goes to, send it to everybody. That's one of my keys. Okay.
Exactly. That's great advice. Great advice. Because at least you cover all your bases out.
And it's safer because everybody knows. So if something happens to you, because I know how dangerous these people are.
Yes, and then it's going to be on the record that many more times too. People think you got to
Yeah.
keep in mind that as well. That's what you
And-
want, is to get it on the record.
Exactly. And at most, you do what you aim to do. And at the very least, they're never going to be viewed at again the same at their little holiday parties. So you're still doing a positive in all the effort, no matter what, if you do that. If that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense, Desiree. Absolutely makes perfect sense to me.
I wish that I could sit here and get all my files and stuff together and be able to share it all with y'all. 'Cause y'all would be at
Oh,
the
I know.
stuff.
We're definitely going to be touching base, in the near future to so we can all fight this. 'Cause I think we all need to start unifying and pull all resources together and really, really pull this off. I think we can do it. I know we can do it. We just got to stop letting division divide us.
Well, I got a rabbit hole.
Oh, yes, it's a good one too. Steve, you got to hear this.
Yeah, she was texting me about it earlier briefly, so I told her
Oh, my
just
goodness.
let's share whatever she feels comfortable with. So, but go ahead, Candace. We'd love to hear it.
Okay, so I actually in my paperwork, okay, so I'm having to be my own attorney like everybody else is, pretty much. I have literally found somebody else's social security number, right? And somebody else's birthday that was not my birthday.
Same name.
Same name, Candace, spelled like just Candace, spelled just like Edwards. Now, I was adopted, okay? So my biological name is Candy Lynn Parslow, okay? What I believe has happened here is the lady where the number, the social security number, I had somebody look that up. Ironically, this girl's name is Candace Edwards. Ironically, the middle name starts with an L. So I kind of feel like they, put my adopted name and my biological name together. But come to find out, this lady is dead.
Is she about 70 years old?
No, she's not. She's 39 and I'm 34.
Oh, she's your age.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And not to mention, she's not from Alabama. She's from Ohio. So what in God's earth? Yes. What in God's earth is her information doing on my paperwork?
It sounds like they're using they're committing identity fraud of some sort for sure, and then a bunch of other different kinds of fraud right there. But I've seen that same tactic used by folks that I knew, in my personal life, like that I back in my 20s that were doing IRS fraud, that were like they were using the same tactic. They were using dead people's information, basically.
This lady has over 50 different crimes on her background. Now, if y'all know anything about my story, okay, I have a criminal case that I had to spend my time in prison where I shouldn't have been to prison. I should have only had a probation type sentence, okay? And I got sentenced to prison. Well, in the order, when I took the judge back to order, we argued that. Not only that, we argued, okay, well, look, you sent me too much time, and it should have just been a probation. So what the judge did was lessen my time, which was 7 months, 10 days. Well, if you go by what, the prison system does. They do 1 day per, it's every 1 day that you serve, you get 3 days on top of that. So literally, instead of spending, 30 days in prison for 1 month, you're literally spending 10 days. So I should have only had a month, quote unquote, had I been in jail. But they gave me 7 months, 10 days. And on top of that, it says, in fact, I was released May the 6th of 2019. No, I wasn't released. I have my prison record. I was released June the 11th.
Hey, Candace, when did this social security number first pop up? When did it first pop up?
To be honest with you, the first time that I actually noticed that it popped up was not too long ago when I looked at my records. It was, hold on, I'm just going to tell you, it's only on one piece of paper that I have, okay? One paper.
Is it for 2017?
No, ma'am. It's actually from, it was filed November the 16th, 2020.
Remember that?
I'd already been released.
You remember that oath?
Which one? There's a lot of those.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We'll talk later.
10-4. But I mean, I wish I could sit here and show y'all like this paperwork that I've got, because literally on my court, this one report that I have, okay, it has somebody else's social security number, somebody else's birthday. It has the due petition file date. It has 06/07/18. My daughter was not in custody at all. But when you look at the stamp when it was filed November 16th, 2020. When they did this hearing, the date and time of the hearing was December 9th.
Yeah, I got it. I just got it.
Oh.
The first one gave me a hard time,
Yeah,
but
we're
he was probably cussing me, thinking I wasn't bringing it with
no,
me.
no, he wasn't cussing, but I was like, because I teased about,
Oh.
said, I was like, damn, fucking, but.
Okay. But anyways, as I was saying.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, you're fine.
What I was saying is, okay, they rubber stamped it November 16, 2020. But if you look at the top of it, the hearing, the time and date of the hearing is December 9th, 2020. So how can they file this paperwork a month prior to the hearing when it's supposed to be filed after the hearing? Then on top of that, it has an address that I don't reside at all. And it has him as a biological father. And instead he was the legal father of my child. The husband was. And like, there's just things that aren't filled in. They knew exactly. It's so funny actually, because it says, where is it at? They literally state that the father, was unknown, and they've been knowing this the whole time. The social worker was actually speaking with the father, the legal father, on the phone. Not one time did she ask for his address. So they sent a notice to the county that I'm dealing with, and then they sent a notice to the last known county, versus the social worker sitting there asking, the legal father where his address was. And there was conversation on the phone several times. Like within this one order, I can tell you there's about 10 things that's wrong with this one order. And you can't tell me on the courts, there's no way that's error. That's fraud. That's straight up fraud. Because one, you got a dead person on my stuff. Ain't even my social and my birthday. So I'm kind of thinking that, they put two names together and created something, or, put my two names together or whatever, and then use this dead lady's, social to make up another name. So it's a rabbit hole that I want to go down and chase to see, is she in contact with Alabama whatsoever? Because as it stands, there's no Alabama information on her whatsoever. It's all in Ohio.
That is crazy.
Very crazy. Like,
yep. Well, we've had a really great show tonight, you guys, and I just want to thank everybody for jumping on. We're about 2 minutes in, or 2 hours and 43 minutes in. Let's wrap this up with the last 15. I think we did a great job, and thank you so much, Jessica, Candace, everybody else that jumped on, Desiree, course. Jen,
Thank you all.
do you want to go ahead?
Jessica, we'd like.
I can't hear.
Oh, yeah, you got to unmute yourself, Dottie.
We would like to know if you'd like to come on the show and work with us further. Could you not hear me?
Yes.
We'd love for you to be part of the team.
Yes, I would like that.
Cool. We think you have a valuable contribution to make, and we can tell you're in this fight as much as we are, and we value that so much, and we're here.
I value it too, and it's nice to know, to know other people that are diligent.
Right.
Absolutely. I think all of us in this, on this are. I think we all have a need or feel a deep inner need to feel like we have to do something about this. Like we're not the kind of people that can just sit back and let it happen. We have to do something. We have to be active and do something. Otherwise, we're not right with ourselves. And that's kind of how I am. I know Angie's like that.
Oh, we're gonna win.
Like that. We're all like that here. But that's what makes us such forces to be reckoned with.
That's right.
Everybody, I just want to say thank you so much for the show. This is a great show, and I feel blessed to be part of this movement and to be given this opportunity to help make this change. I feel really humbled to be helping with this. I don't see myself as I see myself as a participant. I don't like to let my ego get in the way. This is not about me or fame or money. This is about saving these freaking kids, man, because there's the real victims here.
Well, not only that, this isn't the way I see it. This isn't for us. It's not for our children. At the end of the day, yes, we are doing it for our children, but this is actually for the future generations to come.
It is absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, this is what this is really about. This is a fight for the survival of humanity. Like if we don't do this and we don't do our due diligence and clean up our own garbage as far as the human race goes and clean up those that are corrupt, and we don't take out our garbage, then what future do we have going forward as a civilization?
Exactly.
Y'all, I got to get off. I will.
No worries, Candace. We're about to wrap up the show anyways here shortly because we did a good 3-hour one. Thank you for jumping on.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great night, Candace.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Would you like to do some last words for the show, Jessica? I'd love for you to wrap it up with your perspective and what you have to say, if that's okay.
I'm really, I just feel blessed to have had you invite me tonight. I really needed this. I have only my fight left now. And we will win this. We're gonna win this. 100%. We've got all the men that they have stolen children from. We've got all their mothers that were the grandmothers that they've stolen their grandchildren from. We've got all of us mamas that are mad, and I know we've got at least 75% of the country, which outnumbers them. We're going to win this, and our children and our children's children are going to be safer for it.
Here, I completely agree. I mean, we're the ones that are laying the groundwork right now. Like, somebody's got to do this. Somebody's got to fight for these kids, and we're doing it, and just in the last year, how many people started speaking out in the last year?
Oh, a lot.
Just since you aired your story?
A lot of people in Missouri started speaking out after that.
And so I have a quote I like to quote. It only takes a few courageous individuals speaking out against tyranny to change the course of history. These are the times when heroes are born.
Yes, it is the time.
Oh, that's an amazing quote.
Yeah, it's I don't think maybe I combined two quotes, but two of my personal favorites, and I put them up on there. They're a quote on the website right now, the newsforus.world website. Everybody, don't forget to go check that out. We've got a ton of content there. We're exposing a lot of corruption. We're covering the CPS family court corruption issue, as well as the medical fraud issue on Fridays, and then we're also doing like a kind of like a fringe division podcast where we can discuss topics that some people might consider to be fringe. We don't necessarily consider them to be so, but some might. But anyways, yeah, we think that all of these issues are important that we got to talk about. We got to start looking into these things, because right now we're fighting for the survival of our future generations. And that's what this is ultimately coming down to, people.
I have a quote too. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has, by Margaret Mead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Think that's a great way to wrap it up. So everybody, thank you for jumping on, and we're definitely going to be following up with Adam and Don Tisdale. Will be definitely doing a follow-up episode with you. I would love for you to share your story whenever you're ready, Jessica, as well.
Okay.
Also, Crystal Ferrera will be doing a follow-up with you, because what we usually like to do is we like to do like an introduction episode so people can get familiar with our people that are speaking out story, and then we'll do a follow-up where we really get into all the evidence and make the case. Thank you everybody for showing up, and we will all be in touch, and we're gonna have every one of you back on and for follow-ups. Huh?
Yes,
Oh yeah,
thank you guys too.
Oh, you're very welcome. We're going to be at the Missouri State Capitol rally in the morning, tomorrow morning. Or is it in Jefferson?
Jefferson City.
Okay, Jefferson City. So we'll be there tomorrow too. We're going to do a little something special in memory of all these kids that have been victimized by the system.
Oh, good.
But yeah, we have something special planned for that.
Did you bring it out here?
Good night,
Oh my God,
everybody.
I would have liked that. Good night.
Yeah, we'll
Thank
send
you.
you the link if you'd like to participate on that, Jessica. We'd love to have you on.
I would.
Awesome. We'll see
Y'all have
everybody
a good
tomorrow.
night.
Then. You too. Thank you. Good night, everybody.